abuse or neglect can be safe and have a permanent home and an opportunity to thrive. Volunteers in Hancock County help the court make the most informed decision as it relates to the best interest of the children. Whereas these volunteers also help identify resources for the child and their families to help strengthen families and prevent crises before they occur. Whereas through a national effort, Bay St. Louis community members are encouraged to join together to raise awareness for those children falling victim to abuse and neglect throughout the month of April. Whereas this effort will give abused and neglected children in our community and around the county a chance for a safe and positive future. Now therefore, I, Michael J. Fall, Mayor of the City of Bay St. Louis, along with the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month in this city, and in doing so, we urge all citizens to join the national effort to raise awareness and help prevent child abuse and neglect. Thank you.
Got this?
That's right. Sweet. She wanted $1,000.
That's also not long ago.
All these pizza
Okay,
tonight.
poker.
Yeah, man. No candy,
Thank
nothing.
y'all.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Miss Cynthia, for all the great work you and your team do for this county. Okay. All righty. And bringing awareness to this important month as well. So thank you, ma'am. All right. Our next item on the agenda is announcements. We have Hancock Hazardous Waste Collection Day event on May 6th, 2023. I think we've got something on the website as well with all the items to be collected. Yep. We have the flyer there. Let's see, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Hancock County Arena, Kildilla Road, and everything's kind of spelled out on that. Mary, did you have anything else, or Mr. Russo?
They're all looking for volunteers, if anybody's available to help that day. It's a pretty big day event, you know, the county does very well with, putting this on. And, again, if anyone's available, welcome to help.
I would just stress things like paint, tires, electronics, big TVs, batteries, hard to get rid of. Hazardous waste day for a reason. So that's your one opportunity that happens. It costs a lot to put it on, so we encourage the residents to use it.
All right. All right, thank you for that information. All right, and then Mr. Russo, Mayor Favre, the next item, the Clydesdale Parade on April 26th. If y'all just kind of want to go through and go through the details on that.
Fortunate to be able to host them again. This year, we hosting them on a Wednesday. Thursday will be in Ocean Spring. Friday and Saturday, and the weekend is committed to over in Biloxi at the Ash Show for over there. But we're very fortunate to be able to host them again. We got some groups that's interested in joining the parade, looking for some golf carts, participation. Not, we don't want a huge parade, but we're all looking for. We don't want a boo parade.
Yeah.
So we're looking at some as always with this. It's gonna be a good event, and I'll always brings people out to get them.
Do they have a route, as of yet? A route? Do they have the route
Yeah.
determined?
Yeah, they'll start in the harbor, come out the harbor, go down Court Street to Second Street, up to Motlers into the beach, back around down the beach, end at the, by Stanislaus on Book to there, I think it is, and then end at the depot back there.
What time is that? I'm sorry, Mayor. What time does that start?
5:30 or 6 o'clock.
Will that parking be open in the mornings or be closed?
Yeah, but we'll keep some of it, just that half,
Okay.
and they'll use the other half, for parking and all.
Okay. Sounds good. Should be a good event. It always is. All right, next item on the agenda is planning and zoning. For the first applicant is motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and deny the application for special subdivision plat approval and variance to the zoning ordinance submitted by John Perone, requesting to subdivide into 3 new parcels, with each newly created parcel needed variances to lot width and lot area located at 119 Skyline Drive, parcel 135R-0-46-039.000. This was approved to deny 5-0 at planning and zoning. Do we have the applicant or representative to speak to this application tonight? All right. I'm sorry, ma'am. Did you raise your hand?
No.
Yeah, no, well, since the applicant's not in attendance tonight,
Make a motion to follow plan and zone recommendations and deny.
motion on the floor by Councilman Seal, second by Councilman Hoffman. Any discussion before we vote the motion? All right. Vote the motion?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 6-0 to follow the recommendation of planning and zoning and deny the application. All right, next item up is motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve the application for variance to the zoning ordinance submitted by Bernard Construction, requesting a variance of 22 feet resulting in a 3-foot to the front yard setback fronting Court Street located at 200 South Beach Boulevard, parcel 149L-0-29-097.001. This was approved 5-0 at planning and zoning. Do we have the applicant or representative to speak to this tonight?
Good evening, Shane Bernard, Bernard Construction. So, we, at the variance board, we, told them back then that we were just trying to get a re-ratification from what had been passed previously. We've since come up with something that's come up that we think we're gonna be able to work around, but actually any, advice here tonight would be good. So, when Leah designed this for us to get this variance, she designed the building at the point where we requested for the variance. However, it's come to our attention that the roof overhangs what we have come to find out to be the transportation department.
Yeah, the overhang is the transportation, but that's not what the variance is to the Court Street part, right?
Yeah, in other words,
Okay.
we're gonna make it work no matter what, but I'm actually here for some advice, actually, of who do we talk to at the Department of Transportation to ask about air rights on the front
Well,
servitude.
why don't we go through the variance and
Yeah,
then,
that's something completely different.
yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
I don't want it to get, just because it could get really confusing as to what we're talking.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so just briefly, so we can just kind of go through the request for the task at hand on the variance on Court Street, the necessary reason for the request,
Which one?
the
3-foot
variance,
variance.
the 22-foot variance.
Yeah, so it's a small lot. I think you have a site plan in front of you. It's a really small lot, and so in order to make the restaurant work, to get a minimum amount of footage just for the numbers to work, that's the reason why we asked for the variance that we. And also, these plans were designed already, and when we put the option in to buy the property, we were told that they were approved once before.
Yeah, and Mr. Burke, I know this is back, I think, January 21. Are these the same plans that were approved?
So the site plan and everything else was approved. From what I understand, this was before I got here. The plans themselves, the construction documents were never actually submitted, but
Okay.
the actual site plan, the same variance, all of this has came before y'all I guess some of y'all during
Previous
planning and
council.
zoning.
Yeah, I
all
recall.
through the-
I recall.
Well, how come any of this
Basically-
information's not in the packet? I don't have anything. I don't even have what Mr. Kyle Lewis has.
The, don't even have this?
Attached to the agenda.
That's in the, that's in the second,
Yeah.
on C, planning and zoning.
Why don't you-
Yeah, so it's broken up to 2 different things, Gary. One's for the variance and the
What's
site
the site?
plan.
But
Yeah.
it basically fronts on
And the site
North or South
one
Beach,
has
but the
the other part.
property runs down Court, and the entrance
Yeah.
is gonna be on Court, because that's where the accessibility is from the
Right.
sidewalk, that
Yeah.
they can get the
Yeah.
handicapped accessibility
Right.
and
Because
the,
it doesn't actually, even though it appears to, it doesn't actually go to Beach Boulevard.
right.
So,
Yeah. The only thing I didn't see in the footprint in the plans, I'm assuming it's there, but I just wanted to confirm. Do you have an elevator for AD access to the second floor? Because I'm
No.
assuming,
We do not.
It's not required though, is it?
No, cause
Not
what,
required,
floors
as long as you have
do
ADA accessible
two?
for the first floor.
I think
First
it's
floor?
third floor that requires the
Oh.
ADA.
Yeah, so that's why it's broken up into different packages.
And it also gets to like a square footage and what's.
So it doesn't meet the requirements to have that, the
no,
elevator
it doesn't
access
have to have an
rating.
elevator.
That's what I wanted to just.
Yeah,
that's
so
my
I'm
only question on it.
looking at the setbacks, right, on the other side of the street, Purple Banana side, right? The Purple Banana is 4 feet off the sidewalk. That's a sidewalk, so I'm not even sure where the property lines are. So the property lines are even further closer back, so they're probably encroaching even closer than 4 feet. House next door is 6 feet. House next to that's 4 feet. Bodegas on, which would be the old bank, is on the property line, and the next 2 houses are 10 feet from the sidewalk. So on that side of the road, it almost fits within the criteria. Across the street, the next little interior house is 10 feet, or 18 feet. The popcorn shop is, more than 30 feet back. And then the daiquiri shop is about 18 feet as well. So pretty much on that side, because of the small lots, the properties are being narrowed in as far as setbacks. Most commercial areas are 0 setback because of where it's sit on Court Street. That's why it's asking to have a 25-foot setback, but most C1 commercial is 0 for Main Street and the beach.
If I remember correct, the rule actually goes half the distance to
Well, it's
the
the,
surround and-
yeah,
'cause
it's the surround, and what
the
it says
average.
is minimum front yard, 25 feet, or the average of the nearest developed properties, whichever is less. So the average
The-
developed properties are 13 and a half feet, or,
Yeah, and that's about what I think the condos are too. I can't remember what they are, but they're
Right.
gonna be right
correct.
about that too.
Condos has parking out front too, so
Yeah.
probably be 20, 25 feet,
So this is not,
but
Outside of
what's norm,
what fits the.
yeah, on that street,
Yeah.
quite honestly.
Okay. All right.
Just a straight.
Council, any
aerial
further
view.
questions? Anybody here in attendance that would like to speak either for or against the application? If anybody would like to speak either for or against the application at hand tonight?
You wanna speak during, ma'am, you wanna speak during public forum, correct? Yeah, we'll let you, we'll make sure to let you know when, this is planning and zoning stuff.
I'll
motion.
make a motion to approve.
Got a
Second.
motion by Councilman Hoffman, second by Councilman Seal. Any discussion? With the motion?
Nay.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 5-1. All right, thank you, sir.
Site plan.
Next up is motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve the application for a site plan review submitted by Bernard Construction requesting to build a 2-story restaurant located at 200 South Beach Boulevard, parcel 149L-0-29-097.001. This is approved 5-0 at planning and zoning. Pleasure of the council.
I'll make a motion to approve, follow planning and zoning.
Motion
Second.
by Councilman Hoffman, second by Councilman Seal. Any discussion with the motion?
Nay.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 5-1. All right, thank you, sir. All right, next item up is motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and deny the application for variance to the max building limit submitted by Daniel Erickson located at 201 Victoria Street, parcel 137L-0-35-099.000. This was denied 5-0 at planning and zoning. Is there an applicant present tonight or someone that'd like to speak in regards to the application? And can just speak, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Sid Sandoz, 200 Victoria Street. I think I
I have one, sir.
C4 or against? CU4.
Thank you, sir.
This is my neighbor, and I'm glad he bought this house, because I've been looking at it for 40 years, and it was an eyesore. And he's done a fabulous job, and still doing a fabulous job. He needs to put a little carport in a small storage area in the back corner there. To store, stuff in the storage, and the carport will be, perhaps he's got a little small motorhome about yay high, or his classic car. And I personally went around the neighborhood and got everybody's okay on it. Only person that had a question about it was Miss Monty at that meeting, and she was questioning the height
he was thinking it was gonna be something real tall for a motorhome. This one's only gonna be 11 feet high. And sincerely hope that y'all will take this into consideration and approve it, because I sure want them for a neighbor.
Yeah.
And so does everybody else.
Got you, Ms. Sanders. Thank you. Appreciate that. I watched the meeting. There were some concerns. One being the height of the structure, and I think it was established, and it's stated here, I think it's 11 feet in height. That's correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So not actually parking for an RV or like it was previously thought. It's
No,
again,
it's-
storage and a carport.
Yeah.
And the total size of the proposed carport and storage, roughly 576 square feet, correct?
Yeah, 24 by 11 foot high.
And we're looking at the only variance that meets everything other than the max, the variance of the maximum of 50% accessory structure allowed. Everything else meets the criteria of the ordinance. I did hear also some discussions and concerns about the possibility of this turning into something other than what it's stated for. You know, whether that's the applicant or if that property's sold and that's converted. I know that was something that was discussed at the planning and zoning meeting. You know, obviously, it's hard to tell what the future holds on that, but I would like to mention, so it's 576 square feet. And Mr. Burke, if you can clarify that, but if for it to qualify as an accessory, say, dwelling, it meets under that square foot threshold, so it would be under compliance right
Well,
there.
So, with the, I think it was cited in one of them. So, they have a house that's 1,050 square feet. The structure next to it is, traditionally, the building department gets garages, carports attached. It's not attached. And that's, I don't know, let's say 1,000 square foot of just an accessory building next door to the house. It's pre-existing non-conforming. So the way we look at things, you can't do it all the time, but that carport could be enclosed completely. So you have that. There's a little shed behind the carport. We're not counting the pool. So when you have the other, that proposed structure that might be in the back that he's asking for, everything that's not on his house is an accessory structure because it's not attached to the house like a traditional one. So, you know, if there was an actual garage on it, that's not accessory structure. If it's attached under your roof, that doesn't count against it. But, you know, all these accessory ones, they do. So that's where the number came from of, you know, whatever the variance was.
Yeah, 159% of the max building area.
Yeah, it's a small house, very small house.
Gotcha. And this property, I mean, it's a fairly large.
The lot is not is larger than most of them in that area. He owns I think it's about 30 feet or so, maybe 35 feet beyond what is normally 100 by 144. And he's got approximately 6,000 square feet that it's just not being used. I understand, and I just really would love to have this work because I want him for a neighbor. And like I said, I went through all this trouble to get everybody in that neighborhood that's on this list. Only one I couldn't get was Jordan Bradford, and of course he's got a fish, crabbing business, and I couldn't get him. He's always gone.
Mr. Erickson, would you mind coming? I just have a question for you. Can you just take us through, so what's the proposed material for the carport?
Okay. What I'm going to do is what Jeremy recommended, that the facade would not be metal. It would be T11 siding that's on my house. And it would have the metal roof, but I would put the T11 siding around the building and paint it to match my house.
Yeah. So we're not looking at it, it's not a metal structure?
No,
all the
it's
way around.
not.
Okay.
And I just really could use, because I have no garage, and I downsized to retire over here, which I love it. And I really need some storage area to put stuff in underneath that's covered by the roof.
And this is no plumbing, anything?
No plumbing.
Okay.
No, none at all.
And then Mr. Santos mentioned you have some signatures here, looks like from a lot of folks in the area. Is there anybody in attendance here tonight that would like to either speak for or against the application?
plenty of good time.
We always like a crowd. Usually it starts
Yeah.
dwindling here, so we always like to have these seats
Yeah,
filled.
but Mike wants to go home early.
Council, do you have any other further questions for the applicant?
Well, the only thing that I question, as long as, the storage meets the architecture around the
Yeah,
neighborhood,
that's,
you know, I just don't wanna see a metal building.
yeah, and I think I agree with you on that one, because I think there is a metal structure not too far from this location, and that was a
Yes.
concern of many, so that was kinda one of my concerns too.
And I
is that
don't want it in my neighborhood either. But there's one in the neighborhood.
There is, yeah.
I don't know how it happened, but it did.
Stipulate putting siding on it, or the
Part of the motion, putting the sign. All right, at this point, we'll entertain a motion from council.
Motion to, approve the application for variance to maximum building limit submitted by Daniel Erickson located 201 Victoria Street to allow for a carport structure, be 11 foot in height, and it will be, enclosed on the side with T111 or some type of wood
Correct.
product to make it, aesthetically pleasing.
Yes, sir.
Yes, reversing. Yes. Yep. Yes.
So we have a motion by Councilman Seal, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Reed. Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 6-0 to reverse the motion to deny on planning and zoning and approve this application. All right,
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
guys. Thank you. All right, next item up is motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve the application for special exception for a detached accessory dwelling and a 2,138 square feet variance to lot area submitted by Kenny and Allison Curry located at 522 Main Street, parcel 137H-0-45-076.004. This was approved at Plan and Zoning 401. Do we have the applicant or representative to speak tonight? Can you just state your name and address, please, for the record?
My name's Kenny Curry. I'm at 522 Main Street.
All right, Mr. Curry, just kind of briefly take us through what brings you here tonight and need for the variance.
We're just asking for a variance to build a second dwelling on the property.
Is there anybody here in attendance tonight that would like to either speak for or against the application? Council, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Shows two off-road parking spots next to the guest house. There should be plenty of parking.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
All right. Ask for a motion? On the 500 block, yeah. Yeah, I think. Not have they been?
Now with the house and then the sideways house behind it.
Yeah, I don't, hasn't been fully completed, has it?
What's that?
Fully completed?
Oh, yeah.
The one next door?
The next, yeah, the one that, yeah,
They close.
okay.
Okay, so is that your development too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is your so you subdivided it.
But it's not my property. It's a park.
Okay.
lot.
What is this zoned?
C2.
C2?
C2. Right. Motion follow plan and zoning recommendation.
That motion by Councilman Seal,
Second.
second by Councilman Hoffman. Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Approved.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
can we revisit that last one we just did?
Which one's
The Erickson. I mean, their plans for a carport or a metal building.
Yeah, but they're gonna close the sides. We said they're gonna close the siding.
And there was a stipulation in the motion that it would not be a metal building, it would be the T11.
Their plans show for a metal building.
Well,
Mr. Burke, can you clarify, because I think,
These
Yeah.
plans are very specific and outlined.
The motion called for the siding. Gary is right. The plans are Carolina carport metal building that was submitted, but I guess that's the building structure itself. And then you put the siding, I guess, over
It's
the
gonna have a
metal.
metal roof. It's
Right,
gonna have
metal
metal.
roof.
And he said there's a
Yeah.
This is not gonna look like what you think it's gonna look like. I'm
Look like
saying
it-
right
It'll
now.
look like a shed with
It's gonna look like a metal shed.
Siding.
That's all it is.
With,
Without siding on it.
with siding.
Have
It's
wood
like tin
siding.
roof.
So, Mr. Burke, you guaranteeing they're gonna put wood siding on this and you're gonna follow this up?
Well, let's say, I don't,
Well-
building department,
No.
whenever they.
Well, that, hold
get-
on, that would be the building department,
Yeah,
so
that would be the
just to,
building department.
and that's
I
the,
don't think it was ever submitted to the building department. It was,
Accessory
this was submitted to the building department. We have a checklist of everything that needs to be done before they look at it. And they said 50% was more than covered. That's why it came to my office. So those construction documents were put in there for as much information as we can, but I don't think they have not got a building.
yeah, now it goes back to the building department.
Well, with the stipulation that it's gotta be the
So
T11.
those-
Wood
I
siding.
mean, I understand the concern. I don't wanna see a
I'm
metal
just saying,
building there
you're gonna get
either.
a metal building.
But that would be, when it gets to the building, going for the building permit, we need to make sure that
So-
stipulation
Right.
is held.
So
with that.
whenever it goes to the building department, I attach the variance that was given for this, for all of them. So they see that stipulation of whenever they have to have gutters inside the building, so they'll see the stipulation of have to have T11 siding on the structure.
Okay?
Is that-
Saying, but I would be uncomfortable going back to it, since they've already left the,
Well, and
The rent.
Clarifying.
no, and I'm glad that was stipulated in the motion.
Yeah.
So that, again, as Mr. Burke said, that would have to be, that's attached and that'd have to be followed once that permit's issued, so. No, I understand, but we do understand,
Right.
the concern. I don't wanna
Needs
see
to
a
make
big
sure it
metal.
happens.
Yes, correct.
And this is gonna follow all the wind loads of the city?
I mean,
I think the Carolina
Be-
carports
yeah, it'd be
do.
built to where
They're
the
built
codes
to
are.
wind
Gotta
codes and standards.
Shed, residential, whatever. Gotta meet the
135.
standards.
What's the wind load in the city of Bay St. Louis?
I don't know.
Right.
Those
It's building,
Carolina carports and those carport companies have
45,
two different wind loads
like
that
that,
they certify.
35,
And
45.
they're engineered stamp buildings for the wind load. So you have to, the building department verifies, or should verify that it's correct
If
wind,
yeah.
wind load.
Even the wood buildings, metal also, whatever comes in is prefabbed and all. They supply wind on that.
Well, it's in here, and according to their plans, the ultimate wind speed is 105 to 140. Nominal wind speed is 85 to 112.
And that's gotta be the building's gotta be
mean,
verified by the building
yeah,
department.
that goes to the building, so
For 'em
I
to allow to
think
build.
these were just more in there to show you example of what he's building. But, and how big it is and the size, but it's going.
So you
also
submitted
back-
plans of something he's not building.
I had no idea.
I like to review this again. I mean, honestly, I'm not comfortable with what I'm seeing and what was voted on. You don't wanna, if she doesn't feel comfortable, that's okay. I'm just saying that,
We had
what
this-
was
we had this
presented.
information to review
Yeah.
prior to this meeting.
What's that?
So we had this information to review prior to this meeting. And, you know, I looked at it, and you know, as long as they're putting metal siding on it, they got a roof, there's 10 roofs, I got a 10 roof across from my house, people have on their
Not
roof.
metal siding.
It's a metal roof, right? It's
Right.
not, and they're gonna put T111 wood siding on a building that has a tin roof like houses do in Bay St. Louis. It's required to be engineered stamp building.
Did you look at it?
Yeah. It's put. the
Where you
buil-
see that?
The building department requires it,
Okay.
engineered stamp
required.
building, it's required. It's not just, we make it up,
It's
it's
in the
it's
code,
required.
Gary.
It's in our
I know-
codes.
I know it's in the code.
So they can't
I'm
just
just
put a
saying.
building up.
I'm
that's
just
not-
saying, these
Yeah.
plans don't
Yeah.
stand.
But that
We're not
won't be
approving it
approved.
for that.
That's
I
what he brings, it won't be approved.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
it-
so again,
these
the
haven't
guy
been
is asking
submitted
for a variance
Correct, these,
to build that size structure.
I know,
So
I mean,
he may wake up
say-
tomorrow and say, you know what, I don't want a Carolina carport, I want to do
take the-
a cement, well, he probably gonna have a cement slab either way, but he might want boards and hardy board, and that's, I mean, so the variance is for the size of the
Because
structure.
these same
that-
things blew off our property
Oh, yeah.
during Ida. So,
Right.
I mean, they ain't worth it. They're not worth
Or
the
down
stamp
from
that they
down.
put on here.
I know.
but as you said, these aren't the plans that were submitted for approval for the building permit.
No,
So-
nor is it what the variance is. The variance is for the
Yeah, the
size of
size,
what's
correct,
being
yeah.
approved, but, I mean, these, cause I've had conversations with the building department about the Carolina carports, and they have that meet the codes that you have. So if you wanted to completely get rid of Carolina carports, then you'd have to go in and raise, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you what they are, cause I don't have a clue that's the building department's job.
Okay.
But, I mean, that's,
I agree, we just need to make sure it falls through and,
Right.
and built to compliance
yeah.
and what the motion was, and so.
I agree.
But I understand the concern, Councilman
Nope,
Hoblock.
you agree.
All right. Does that satisfy your request?
Well, we just gotta keep a look at it.
Yeah,
Okay.
to watch it.
All right, next item up, is motion to file planning and zoning's recommendation and deny the application for text amendment to Article 3, Section 623 of the zoning ordinance, which will amend the chart of uses to change parking lot in all zoning districts from allowed by right to allowed by special exception. Okay, so where do we stand with this one, Mr. Burke? Or Ms. Smith?
As to what was being asked, because item F and item G, you're asking for the same thing. You're asking to make an F parking, and then an F, do I have this right? Yeah. F parking lot by special exception, and G, you're asking mini storages and warehouses by special exception. So all that means is that if somebody's going to build a parking lot or a mini storage, either one, they come to you and have to ask for a special exception the same way anything else in your chart of uses is asked for special exception. So I think at planning and zoning, it got into, oh, what are the requirements for gravel, and what are, well, if you look at your chart of uses, if something, and that would be for things that are your primary use. So if somebody is submitting a parking lot and the primary use is a parking lot, so we're not talking about buildings that have, we're not talking about hotel with their parking or hospitals with their parking or
Just a strictly
we're
parking
looking
lot
at-
on a piece of
yeah,
property.
strictly parking lot. And I think they had something to come up with, well, we should say paid parking lots. Well, it doesn't, no. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a paid parking lot or if it's somebody just says, hey, I want to, put up a parking lot. That where I'm just gonna let everybody park in for free. That doesn't matter. It's a standalone parking lot. It's just saying that before you can do that, you have to come and request permission to do so. The same thing is the first one that comes off my head is like an accessory dwelling. You know, those are allowed, an accessory dwelling allowed by special exception. I'm trying to think, I don't have the chart of
Yeah,
uses in
but
front of me, but,
accessory-
there's certain things they come and they just ask, and so it's the same concept.
So the thing that I think was getting confused is if you have, the only example I could think of off the top of my head that there's a moratorium, so no privilege license was issued since the moratorium was
Correct,
given,
yeah.
except, but they call it the Buttercup parking lot. That is a standalone parking lot. It's not attached to a business. So they have to meet this criteria. Hancock Whitney Bank on Main Street, on the back side of it, they do not have a privilege license to operate for their parking control because they had the moratorium after the fact, but that parking lot goes with the business. You know, it's one and the same. Now,
The parking lot is, in that situation, is ancillary to
yeah.
running the bank or running the whatever the building is behind the bank.
I
And,
just-
so the paving thing, I know there was something come up with the paving. Well, if you look on your chart of uses where it says parking lot, I think it's number 8, that's in parentheses, and you look, when somebody's using a parking lot as a primary structure, there's definition of the surface that's required to have. So it doesn't fall underneath the general parking standards that's in when you're doing a development. So all this is just, my opinion, what you guys originally asked for is just to make it where if somebody wants to do a standalone parking lot as their primary use, it's no longer allowed by right like it is today. It's allowed by special exception, and they have to come ask for it.
So it'd be, and this was some of the stuff. If,
No, just leave it. Let them ask questions.
no, I'll say, no, some of the questions that was confusion with it was if it's attached to it. I think one of the commissioners kept on referring to Our Lady of the Golf parking lot. You know, but it's, as she said.
Which that's the parking lot for the community center and the church.
Yeah, it's ancillary to the.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what about, so, now I get the concept, and so, I'm assuming, say, when we have events and somebody has a open lot and they wanna do paid parking, with this, they'd come forth and ask for special exception for that? Do we look at, with the privilege license, I mean, cause I know it comes up, I mean, there's lots we've seen that they do.
I mean, it is, and that's just something as a city, I mean, we're not the only one that's faced with this.
Yeah, no,
You
it's
go to New Orleans
Mardi
during
Gras
Jazz
and-
Fest, and all of a
yeah.
sudden, everybody's front yard becomes a parking lot.
Right.
So, I mean, if you as a city wanna come up with an ordinance to prevent that, you know, cruising the coast, there's a lot of places downtown that normally are pretty green lawns. During cruising the coast, people are out there charging $5, $10, $20 to
Yeah.
park. So, I mean, technically, yeah, if somebody goes and just sets up a parking lot and they haven't come and asked, and even if it's for a weekend,
Right.
I mean, yeah, so how much you as a city want to enforce that, or it just kinda is a, I mean, you gotta just do an analysis on that.
Yeah, no, I understand.
That's almost, can't even,
Yeah, no, it's hard to.
Can't even
monitor that.
regulate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
no. But this is, the premise is, standalone lot, you're gonna have. use it
I
as a
think
parking
somebody
lot.
wants a standalone lot, it should be
Yeah.
by special exception.
I'm perfectly. good.
Someone building a building, you gotta have so many parking spaces for a house or a business, they need to stick with those.
So is it just maybe the misconception of the wording of it, or I guess I'm just trying to understand the plan? Because I
don't-
did watch the meeting, and it just, I know.
I don't
it
know.
just
I
was-
haven't watched the meeting. I have talked to a couple of them. I've talked to Jeremy, and I don't know, because I think the next one went through with no issue, and that's,
Yeah.
you know, my thing is like, well, what's the difference?
He was
Because I
saying-
think they were, well, how do you know which one's to deny? How do you know which one's not to? But that wasn't an issue with mini storages.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same, you know, you go through the same process that's put out in your planning and zoning for allowing special exceptions. So, threw me for a
Counsel?
loop.
Yeah.
But and some of it too is I think parking lots are hot topics, you know, right now. It's on everybody's mind, and people are worried about them. And when I say worried, it's all different. Some people want them, some people against them. Some people think they should be rock, some people think they should be paved. There's so many different opinions right now on parking lots that are all over the place that I think people just have questions about it.
Gotcha. Okay. Council, any other questions, comments?
We probably do need to get our ordinance corrected, you know, where there's a discrepancy between gravel surface and hard surface.
So,
I
our
don't think right now, as
ordinance.
it stands, it's not required to be a paved.
Well,
well,
it's too-
so
it's a
if you're using it
discrepancy
as a
Yeah.
standalone,
in the ordinance. It's the,
so what your chart of uses,
right,
and
it
this
says one
part's
thing.
not changing, so make sure the record is reflecting that.
Yep.
Under your chart of uses for parking lots, so that means if you have it where you're using it as the primary reason, parking lots shall be paved so to provide a durable and dustless surface to dispose of all surface water accumulations and light it to illuminate the parking area, but also to reflect any light away from adjacent properties and premises. So that's pertaining to your standalone parking lots, that's allowed by right. So that language is different than what's in some of your language that's just talking about general parking lots, but there's a reason for that. And the reason is because it's dealing with straight standalone parking lots.
Would agree that's, I mean, something that doesn't need to be revisited, but doesn't necessarily have a bearing on tonight if we want to go forward with.
Yeah,
it as
well,
a-
so the lot at corner of Second and Main Street was not required to be paved
There's another one that,
because they used the second definition
yeah,
and not which was in ordinance as number 8 bullet. So now we're saying the bullet number 8 is the correct one. They should have paved it when they were permitted for that parking lot. Because y'all argued with me about, oh, well, it's discrepancy down here in this next section. But now we're saying if it's a paid parking lot, then it's gotta be paved. Well, the one on the corner of Second Street, Main's not paved because we found that other part of the ordinance that says it don't have to be paved. So we need to get on the same page about what we're gonna require everybody to do.
All I can tell you is my opinion is it should be,
Well, your opinion before was
no,
that the
no.
one on the corner was okay to be gravel because that's why I said we need to get the ordinance right so it doesn't, if there's discrepancies, and, because Jeremy showed me, hey, but this part of the ordinance, it says something else that it could be gravel, right? Because we discussed this. Right? We discussed this and was like, no, it don't have to be because this section and this section don't match up, so it can be gravel. Now we're saying, well, if it's a standalone parking lot, it's gotta be paved. Well, that's a standalone parking lot, and to me, we're changing our meanings right now.
Then we have the one on the beach,
Yeah.
that's gravel, right across from, where Old Merchants Bank used to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, I just, you know,
So
and I
you
remember
had-
discussion, that's why I said, that's why I brought up, said, we need to get our ordinance so it's
We have a moratorium on it.
definitive.
We have a
I mean,
moratorium,
I've
so if we need,
consistently
Okay,
pointed to this, so.
okay, all right, but
So is it,
respectfully disagree that night.
is it gravel or is it paving? What is it?
It says it's supposed to be paved if it's down, it's,
Standalone parking lot, it's paved so to provide a durable and
Yeah.
dustless surface. That's your language.
so, yeah. Yeah, and I thought that was great to it until you start looking at, if we start paving everything, then you got drainage issues, right? And I get it, I don't know where the heck I'm at on
And that's
paving
where
it.
this came in.
Right, I don't know where
Heather-
I'm at on paving and not paving. quite
She
honestly.
always believed it should have been paved, but then when the permits come through, you got two things there,
Well, that's,
and again, do you wanna fill up all your lots downtown with temporary pavement?
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know
I think
either.
the correct answer, looking back on, is they should be paved, they should be striped where they have,
Right, yeah.
well, we look at
Like-
the permeability aspect, but you also look at the ADA accessibility. I think you've
Correct.
gotta
That's
even
all
have at
order.
least a designated
no
spot.
matter what, it's gotta have that.
Well, they had, blue paint out there, but you sure don't roll those on wheelchairs.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
and
not
that's-
conducive
I mean,
to rocks
so
and
when people are
wheelchair.
putting up parking lots, that is a business, that is a standalone business by itself. So it's no different than the people that were here earlier wanting to put a restaurant. Their business is restaurant. These people wanting to put these standalone parking lots, they're in the business to make money off of parking. So, I mean, quite frankly, the town took a parking turn pretty quickly and kind of went whoosh, and now it's
So with this motion at hand, or what's being proposed with the amendment to the chart of uses, it's not ambiguous as to if it's paid standalone parking, what that surface has to be, and that would go to the paved,
paved,
or, yeah.
paved and lighted,
But it would also force it to come in front of the council.
Right.
yes.
Right.
Right,
that-
yeah,
that-
no,
that-
that's,
So we can't just wake up one day and say, oh, there's
If-
another parking lot,
If we follow the
green grass.
recommendation and deny it, then it's allowed by right.
correct.
no,
We
yeah,
have no say in approving
no,
or not approving. If-
I
if-
agree.
Just the,
Right.
just the surface would still be there.
Surface is gonna be whatever the ordinance says.
That's right.
Yeah, no, I understand. Council,
Well, then what you're saying is we need to overturn this.
correct,
Okay.
Yeah, right.
If we want it to be approved by special exception each
Right.
time,
Yes.
which I
Yes.
believe we do.
yes, I think that's what we had discussed, and that's why we hadn't brought it up to make the amendment. Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we overturn the planning and zoning's recommendation to deny the text amendment for the parking lot usage.
All right, a motion by Councilman Knobloch,
And approve the text amendment, correct, Gary?
I'm sorry.
Second,
And
Oh.
approve the text amendment.
second by Councilman Seal. Any discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 6-0.
So just go back. So section 808, parking area and design requirements is where the discrepancy's at. So we're gonna somehow delineate that one is specifically, number 8 is specifically for paid parking. In section 08, we're gonna change that to residential, commercial parking or something? Cause it's confusing, right, Jerry? I mean, you've discussed this.
Because that goes along with site plans.
Yeah, so that's the rub, right? I mean, we've had this big discussion about paving and not paving, and y'all said, well, their ordinance is not right. It's a discrepancy there.
But if it's not,
But it
if
don't-
it's no, but what we just discussed tonight, if they do it where it's an answer based on the site plan,
But
it's
it don't
not
say that.
standalone. No, I
But
know,
don't, and that's the problem, it don't say that. Pavement and draining. Parking and loading areas shall be paved with asphalt, bituminous, or concrete material to minimize nuisance for dust. Parking and loading areas shall be graded and drained, right? So that's where they said, oh, they can use gravel.
If you look at the other one, I think it says hard surface.
It does,
which
right? So that's,
That's
again,
considered
which
hard
one,
surface,
right? So there's two different
but I
sections.
think now it's cleared to where
No, it's still the same
still
ordinance
the
we
same,
use.
but it's for standalone parking.
But-
Stipulates
Well,
that
we need to
dust
change the
free.
ordinance to say something specific, right? Today, it's not.
It's not specific.
It's not specific. So we could be, somebody drags to court because, well, I'm going by 808.2. Well, we're going by number 8
We want
bullet.
to change that now?
Well, you have to do it.
You
I
gotta
think we
do
need
a
to
technical.
Need to figure it out.
You know, we did have a group come up and they talked about gravel parking, water, being able to
Well, and that's-
through it, and,
Yeah.
And
perk
there's a
factor.
certain gravel that you put down, I mean, it gets just as hard as, concrete.
Yeah, that's what I don't know if I'm
57.
for paving or not paving, but
Um,
honestly, just for the,
I think that's okay for houses and stuff, you know, if you have
yeah.
Same.
gravel
If you
driveway
want,
for your house.
Every lot downtown that's open with paving on it.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
think you have to have it where it's a business.
Right. Yeah. All right, we just need to work on that, figure out.
I would just make, there's obviously a capital investment by somebody having to invest to put up a
You
paved
want
parking
somebody
lot,
to do that, right?
compared to someone just sticking signs on grass, which
Oh, yeah.
happened on Main Street one weekend, we had to stop it.
Right.
So, you know, there has to be some type of investment in your business. And you're not just gonna stick signs up on the grass if you go with the paved, that's ADA compatible and other things. But most importantly, now it has to come in front of y'all.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
With the text amendment y'all put in place.
so today, we're clear that the ordinance, standalone parking lots need to be paved. That's the way the ordinance has been since 2010. So the people that have gravel parking lots today need to pave them.
So we're gonna make them go back and pave them.
That's what the ordinance states.
Now, who's gonna enforce it? So that mean Main Street parking is gonna have to go back and get paid. Downtown beach parking is gonna have to go back and get paid. Is that what we're saying tonight?
We hadn't changed the ordinance.
Yeah, it's new, yeah.
Or we don't know what we're saying?
Well, I think
I
that's
mean,
where
if
we,
we're saying that tonight, I think we need to discuss that further and create an ordinance that's more specific one way or the other.
And it needs to be definitive.
Yeah.
That's why I said them two sections need to make sure, or just something to call out each
I
section.
think you can
Whatever.
do a text amendment.
Right.
To go back.
Or we just kicking down the road?
yeah, but are we saying the current and existing paid parking that are not paved, we're gonna, I mean, that's what we need to
I mean,
discuss, and I guess from a legal standpoint, I mean, again, it's not a change of amendment, the amendment's there.
I mean, yeah, you're not changing
Right.
anything. I mean, you have multiple issues and, you know, quite frankly, guys, whether or not I should say this or not, that's a whole different argument, but this is all something that was new and it came fast. And it started with something like, okay, we need a parking, this is a temporary solution. I mean, all of you know there is one on the beach that was required to do everything and put standards, and then some of it is trying to figure out how to help a situation that the city has, and then all of a sudden, you had a new problem that we hadn't had before, that, okay, so we have this temporary parking that was put on the south side of the beach, just as, you know, I think there's a development that's in the process of working there. Okay, let's try to get it where we can get some parking to alleviate our parking problems. And then literally overnight, they were flooded with, I mean, one weekend, I think all of a sudden all these, and I think it was right around Cruising the Coast, actually, all these signs went up. And so, I mean, I don't think any of you would have imagined that all of a sudden every lot that was vacant on Main Street in Bay St. Louis would have paid parking
down
signs
to
on it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I just don't think that's, so we can sit here and we can talk about what's right, we can talk about what's wrong, and we can get ourselves in big predicaments where you guys are all heading right now. But the truth is, nobody could visualize what was about to happen. And so now it's just a matter of, okay, this is the problem, how do we fix it? How do we make sure it doesn't happen again? And that's where, sounds to me, everybody's on the same page, council, administration. Somebody comes in tomorrow and says, I wanna put a parking lot wherever, they're gonna have to submit they're gonna have to come to you guys, they're gonna have to submit plans, it's gonna have to be paved, it's gonna have to be lighted. So it's very clear going forward exactly what has to be done.
So we're grandfathering the ones that's there. Are we grandfathering them
I
already
definitely,
in?
no, I definitely wouldn't say that. I would not say we're grandfathering them in.
And I will just say, and this is probably dating back to 2019 or 2020, and it was when I was planning and zoning, we were having a proposal to do paved parking to address some of before these got here, and then it was pulled, and then some of these ended up coming. And this is before, Mr. Burke, you were on there, but I distinctly remember that there was that proposal, and then it was, for whatever reason, pulled, and then we had that. So there was an opportunity a few years ago to do that, but here we are back again with the same issue.
Well, I think a couple of them that's turned into parking was used for parking to start with. Whether they were authorized to use them or not, same as where the hotel is also, you know, it was a vacant lot that's turned into parking. And when this came along, this is what happened, you know? So.
We know what we have at hand right now, that there's been a text amendment, it's not allowed by right, special exception, we do need to specify, I guess, bring this back up the next meeting if we need to do a text
Still
amendment
have a moratorium on, right?
on paid parking.
We're still under moratorium as far as that's concerned.
We
so-
extended it,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think we extended till June.
About the first, yeah,
Yeah.
sometime.
Yeah, I think I got it on my
June,
list.
July,
Yeah, May 24, 2010, that same parking lot shall be paved so to provide durable industrial surface was in the May 24, 2010 city ordinance. So the ordinance has not changed since 2010.
We just need to specify that if you're gonna have a commercial paid parking lot, to say what you want in that parking lot. I think somebody builds a house and they wanna put a gravel driveway, that's fine. That encompasses probably
No, yeah.
30–40% in Ward 6-1.
Sure.
We just need to figure out what the ordinance needs to be consistent.
All right.
Good. Roll.
All right, next item, last item on the planning and zoning, is motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve application for text amendment submitted by the city of Bay St. Louis for a text amendment to Article 3, Section 623 to the zoning ordinance that will amend the chart of uses to change mini storages, warehouse, and C3 highway commercial district from allowed by right to
So
allowed
they
by special
overturned
exception.
Motion.
We have a motion by Councilman Seal,
Second.
second by Councilman Knobloch. Any discussion about the motion?
Aye.
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 Right.
Aye, motion carries 6-0. All right, next item up is the mayor's report.
First thing, I think we talked last meeting, about sending 4 officers to Washington DC for the memorial for our 2 fallen officers. We asked to approve up to, I think it's, $7,000 not to exceed to send those 4 officers. We do have some donations coming, don't know what that amount will be, but no matter what, our expense won't be more than $7,000.
Mayor, I know at the last meeting we discussed, and you said there might be some fundraising. Is there any kind of fundraising event that might be able to help get some of these funds? Do we have anything specifically planned, or how is
No,
that
but there's,
fundraising effort?
well, I think the chief might talk on one, if there's anything will be available on that one. But, I think the Misfits is gonna make a donation from what they had. Don't know the amount. That won't be to the second meeting this month because it'll be after their meeting. I think there may be some other possibilities of donations come. We just don't know how much.
Is there any ability to help parts say, do an actual fundraiser instead of going to the end, but just having a fundraiser event, say, partnering with
Sure.
the chamber or whatever? I mean, I know the time's ticking, and I think the application's we've already had to submit it, right? I think it was March 24th and 10th to attend.
Yes. Sure, there's all kind of opportunities to do fundraising.
The only issue that I have is that, a per diem rate, I don't mind reimbursing people bringing their receipts back within reason, as long as they don't understand it, but, just give a per diem. There's no sense in that. Bring the receipts back from the hotels and eating, lodging, or whatever.
Well,
Why do I have
there's
that?
a Mississippi.
It's
Following
set,
Mississippi
Gary,
guidelines.
so it's a set, unfortunately, we can't just, it's a per diem rate that the state sets.
Where?
What you're talking about?
Well, y'all don't have that. Y'all have rate for Charlotte, and you got a rate for Atlanta.
Yes.
What's the state rate? I mean, we've seen people before, and they
It's-
brought back receipts.
It's not there's a set state rate of the per diem for meals.
I thought
Not for
that-
municipal employees.
I don't think this is for lodging. Toby might have to answer this one.
I don't know.
But-
That is honestly.
It was my understanding we were paying for lodging, and it was just the per diem rate for their meals.
For their meals,
Their
Yeah.
lodging will be paid for by the
lodging
city.
is included
But-
in this.
The meals, we can't legally reimburse. We can only do the whatever the per diem rate is.
I don't know what that number is, Gary.
So
So
it would have
that's
to be this Mississippi, state of Mississippi's per diem rate or the
Well,
area they're going to per diem rate?
Yeah, it's the area they're going to.
Okay.
And clarify, so we have 2 officers that'll be flying and 2 that'll be driving, correct?
I'll clarify. I gave 2 options because still undetermined by the officers if they want to drive, if they want to fly. They may bring their spouse, so we gave them the option of going up in a city vehicle. Spouse can ride with them, and that way we're not responsible for 2 airplane tickets. With more cost effective if they drive up. So the per diem rates are based on they're out of state, and if you do the mileage and the drive and the rates for those local areas, that's what it was set at. The meals on average, diem up to a set amount. I want to say it was probably $52 a day. It could have been 46. Honestly, I don't remember. But specifics, but it was kept within reason. But obviously, the officers would be using receipts, and the reimbursement would be based off the receipts, what was actually expended, not to exceed the total amount of $7,000.
We don't know what that fundraising, what that fundraising dollar is at this moment. You mentioned.
And on the fundraisers, I haven't heard officially from American Legion, but they did raise funds. They're waiting to hear what the city of Bay St. Louis does.
So,
First.
so 2 things. The per diem,
What we're doing.
it can go up to, I think it's 50, I have to look, I just saw, I think it was $55. So they can submit, if
One's
they submit
55.50,
receipts
the other
under
one's
that.
51.75.
But let's be real, if they're going to DC and eating 2 meals, they're probably going to exceed that. So you're probably gonna end up paying the 50
Right.
for the state. So think about that as your worst case scenario. And then the funds from the American Legion, I think the understanding is trying to make sure the officers' families get there,
Correct.
and then possibly helping our officers with the expenses that the city can't pay for,
Correct.
like funds above the per diem. So I'm not, I would not encourage you to anticipate that funds are gonna be donated to the city on that, because I think they have limited funds to
Correct.
get their people
Their
there.
primary fundraising event was to take care of the families
Yeah.
first. So we don't know what those expenses are. So as a city, we're anticipating what our officers' expenses are.
And Toby, are you included in this for?
I am, yeah.
Just make sure.
And mentioned spouses going in the city vehicle. I just want to make sure from a liability standpoint.
I heard that too, and that's on my list of things to do tomorrow, to call the insurance company to verify we're okay there.
Yeah, we had a transfer in the general fund for, I think, some savings we had. We're gonna do a budget transfer, a budget amendment for $8,000 to cover this cost. That we're talking about. Yeah, we're talking about $7,000, but it's for the families, right? The officers, it's in recognition for the officers of Gatorade Life, right? $7,000. I'll vote today to do it. You know, we can't nickel and dime everybody today, and I understand, I'm a penny pincher, right? But for something like this, it's you know, it's important to move forward and give them our blessing and, hey, say, go and honor the city of Bay St. Louis with your officers, right? I'm all for doing you know, the most cost-effective things, but at this point, you know, we need to bless them and give them the money to go and, you know, in honor and memory of their fallen officers and their families to go with them and enjoy themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I fully agree, and I don't think it's a matter of just nickel and dime.
No, I'm just saying, right? It's the money and, right, yeah, we just don't wanna throw money away, and I agree with that,
You
but,
just gotta bring the receipts,
yeah,
that's it.
yeah, and the chief said that was it,
That's
so,
good.
we're good.
And you said that, a couple of them wanted to bring their wives. Is that what,
We've built in that possibility. There's
Now,
that option,
and
primarily for the officers, but
basically the ones that wanna bring their wives, that's the ones that were driving because of, is that why they?
that hasn't been determined if any spouses are going. We wanted to make sure the officers were going, but we have that option built in. Obviously, it's not costing them anything if the spouse gets up there.
So if
Whether
spouses are
it
going,
may not,
if
yeah,
they wanna
depends on what's
fly,
proven, what's
spouses
not.
would have to buy their own plane ticket.
Right.
We can't. Now, if the American Legion wanted to say, hey, here's $500 to cover, you know, your expenses to get your your spouse there, of course, the American Legion could do that. That's their money, that's private funds. So if the American Legion wants to give them a stipend for that, that's fine. But city funds will not be used for airline tickets or, any sort of per diem or food or anything
Correct.
like that.
Just the
Unfortunately,
travel and the
we
lodging.
legally can't do that.
But it would be the lodging as well.
'Cause what
Well,
I-
the lodging's already paid for.
This was
Separate
based
rooms for
purely
the
off of the officers.
Okay,
Yeah, the
what I would like
lodging's
to
for the
do-
officer.
No,
So if
yeah.
their spouse wants to come stay in the hotel room with them,
It's,
What-
you know, double bed.
What I would like
spouse
to do,
concern.
you know, for the 4 officers that's going, I would purchase their airline tickets, you know, round trip. You know, so that would free up some money for them to do other things. Okay, my company would do that,
and
and then they could have money for other things.
And Mr. Jeffrey, which you may want to consider with that, and that is so generous, that makes me want to tear up and cry.
Sure.
But what I would recommend as city attorney is let the city pay for the flights, and you give these officers cash money as just a personal contribution, because we legally can pay for their flights. What we can't pay for is if they want to go into a museum up there, or if they want to go have a nice appetizer, if they want to go do if they want to take taxis around where they're going. That's the kind of stuff we can't pay for. So my recommendation to you is let the city pay for what we legally can pay for, and then help these officers where they can go and they don't have to carry the financial burden that is DC. Because most of you have probably gone to DC, and downtown Bay St. Louis looks real cheap, so.
No.
Yeah, well, or we'll pay for their spouses' tickets.
That would,
you know,
yes, that would be a perfect,
you
that would
know,
be a perfect thing
if
to,
their spouses
yes.
wanna go, okay?
I appreciate
So
that.
just let
Yes,
me
sir.
know, and, you know, as soon as they can.
Yes, sir.
So we can go ahead and take care of that.
Thank you. Thank you, council.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So we need a motion?
We need a motion, yes.
So I'll make a motion to approve the expenditure up to 7,000.
Second.
Second by, motion by Councilman Hoffman, second by Councilman Reed. Any discussion with the motion?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
All righty, thank y'all.
Next, we have on the agenda, to approve an amendment with Moffett and Nichols. They came in and we met with them. I think Gary was down there, with us, to look at the problems we have in the harbor from the original building and everything. Be the east wall to come in and do what needs to be done for permanent fix, the event deck and this. Enter in a contract for them to oversee this project. Jason will no longer oversee it. They will be responsible for the repairs and their recommendations. Gets, you know, him out of it in case it does go to, you know, litigation and everything down the road for whatever reason. You know, he was part with Brown and Mitchell. Was it Brown and Mitchell?
Well, and so
So,
we can keep all that. So what this is just takes Jason out of this, brings somebody in to reevaluate, get this thing moving, hopefully get it fixed. As we've discussed before, has absolutely nothing to do with litigation. It's just getting our harbor fixed
Right.
to where it needs to be today.
yes.
The representative from the firm is here. And we sent out some qualifications to you guys, so
Yeah.
you can obviously see the talent that they bring and their focus, their main focus is being structural engineers in ports and marinas throughout the country.
Yeah, I mean, this is what they do. I mean, their qualifications speak for
This is
themselves.
what they
so,
do.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I mean, I did look through that. All right, funding.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the
You wanna let him just
expenditure.
come up and talk for a second? He's good
And-
guy.
Oh, do you have somebody, we do,
And the-
yeah, if you'd like to.
The also
come pre-
intent of the task order is to come in, evaluate, and then provide a recommendation back. If the council then wants to take action, we'd go to another task order for design, construction, all that kind of stuff. If you want to speak to that.
Good evening. My name's Jonathan Hurd. I'm with Principal and Vice President of Moffett Nickel. We came over here
Last week.
last week to look at the project. We are familiar with the marina. In fact, we did the pro forma market feasibility study and so years ago to make the slip mix what it is and hopefully contribute to the reason it being full today. As you've said, you've stolen my line. This is what we do. We are marine structural engineer. We're 75 years old. Our CEO and president is the grandson of the founding parent of the company. We do everything from recreational fishing piers to marinas, urban waterfronts, and to some of the largest container ports around the world. Our guys and girls who will be inspecting this are licensed structural engineers. The intent here is to come do an inspection, confirm what the failure mechanism is, and provide recommendations for repair on kind of two scales. One is repair and monitor, or get you out of the grafting business and fix this once and for all. So I'm here happy to answer any questions. The reason we've done this in a two-phased approach, it provides, from our perspective, a better custodian of your funds to look at this project. Let's look at it, let's see what's wrong with it, and then we can map a path forward as to how to fix it. Get your marina and vent deck back into useful property that you originally intended to do 10 or so years ago. We did actually just do an inspection, unrelated to this project. I think it was in August for your marina. It's been hammered by a couple of pretty decent storms. And the truth of the matter is the rest of your marina is in pretty good shape. We have put some recommendations together as to what you might want to do from a maintenance and repair on a 6-month. You do this now, 12 months, what you might want to be considering, and then opportunistically down the line. We also look at, and I think you've got copies of these reports, the pricing structure of the marina. I mean, that pricing structure put together some years ago. You are full for a reason, and that's because you've got the amenities close to a downtown area. You've got all the amenities that recreational boats want to see across the northern Gulf Coast. So we provided some recommendations that should probably price appropriately. You might want to look at this going forward. Happy to answer any questions.
Anticipated start date, when this would begin.
So we can get cracking right away. We've got an information request into Jason. Obviously, we couldn't see that until we'd met with you all today. We would look at that material, review it thoroughly. I think we could probably have somebody on boots on ground at the marina within 3 to 4 weeks. And I can't for the life remember the timeline. I think the timeline to get you a report, and then we'll get you a report, and it'll say these are your recommendations. This is how we recommend you fix it. And what we want to do is not shut you down. We're looking at maybe a phased approach.
Okay.
So about 2 to 3 weeks, I think, 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, for a final report. Now, that's a report with a ribbon on it, signed and sealed by a licensed Mississippi registered professional engineer. But obviously, we can meet prior to that and say, yeah, your opinions of what has caused the failure are true, or there are some other things you might want to consider, and we can move forward before a formal report lands on your desk.
And then we'll move, and then at that point is when you'll actually go for it with the final design. So this is just more of a reporting, not actually construction documents.
So at the end of all of that, we would be able to put on your desk a set of bid documents you can advertise for bid to repair, and an approach to repair the facility that you've got, because it's a very nice marina.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to look at the report that wasn't affiliated with this, but very thorough report, had a lot of good information on there. So looking forward to getting you guys in there and seeing what it takes and moving forward on it.
If you worried about the accent, I came to LSU for grad school 25 years ago, never quite left.
Good job, good job, good.
Oh, a big night the other night.
It was, yeah, quite good.
Jonathan.
Yes, sir.
I had the pleasure of being able to walk the marina with you. And I guess looking forward, without being totally, I mean, I know you can't give a dollar amount. What do you think you're looking at based on what you're seeing? Because we have to sort of prepare for that.
So there's rules of thumb for these things, right? So we looked at some rules of thumbs before I came over here, and this type of repair can often run you somewhere in the region of about $500 per linear foot, which puts you in the range of about $600,000. These are back of napkin numbers, right? So,
Correct.
you know.
I don't hold you to it.
And then,
Gary, a lot of that I would
I
prefer
like that
not to
number.
talk about in a public
and then there's
setting, but
utilities,
they're
which
so-
obviously, yeah, and so it depends on the method of approach that we have to repair. But we can probably, at the end of the inspection, we could probably say, give you, we're gonna make some recommendations. We're gonna advise you what you should do. We're not gonna tell you what to do. This is your marina after all. We're gonna advise you what you should do to get out of the grouting business, and repair business. And at that point, we will be able to give you an order of a probable cost of what it's gonna cost to repair, which is a class 5 estimate, which I think is plus 50% and minus 30% with that. The good news is we are seeing construction costs starting to come down. I don't think they'll go back to previous COVID levels, but they're starting to come down.
All right.
John, Mr. John, thank you for the information. Council, any other questions, comments?
Do, I know this is down the road, right, but do we need the event deck?
Do we?
Yeah.
Think
I mean, we don't do nothing with it, right? I mean,
there's-
I'm just throwing stuff on the wall right now, right?
It's,
I think
How many
you have-
slips is that, right? I mean, we don't do nothing with it. It's a waste.
I mean, I think there could be some very
Well,
good potential there.
10 years it's been a waste. It has generated $0.
It hasn't generated anything this
Right?
fiscal year.
I mean, so we're gonna dig this up or we're gonna work under it. I mean, I'm just throwing something on the wall right now. Just food for thought. We'll move on.
If you wanted for us to look at kind of a return on investment or a cost benefit analysis for ripping that out and repurposing it as some additional slips, I know, Finger Pier 5 is still pretty vacant.
Mhm.
That's something we can look at.
Yeah,
That's something we can discuss.
I don't know. I mean, we talked about
It's a numbers game,
how
right?
do we rent it? How do, we've talked about how do we utilize it more, right? Talk about how expensive it is to put a tent down there, how it's hard to get electricity down there, so
I mean, it's
Looking at putting
underutilized.
some type of hard surface on it.
Yeah, I mean, but
Well,
right now today it's underutilized.
Well, I
and
think we might
was
be, if you
something-
put some kind of a awning or tent, I mean, you invest in that,
Right.
to where people are more
I'm just-
inclined to have something there.
Yeah,
You know,
throw
it's
stuff
something
on the wall,
to
right?
That came
discuss.
up in multiple of the community meetings during the planning sessions, and that's been recommended is, hey, and there's a lot of funding out there to do that right now.
That's fine.
To put some sort of physical structure, so you don't have to rent a
Yeah.
$6,000 to
Yeah.
$10,000 tent,
Right.
and have an
Yeah.
event down there, cause right now it's in the sun, so we
Yeah.
actually, I think we briefly talked to you guys about that, and Mike and I and Jason had talked to the last week about some different funding
Okay.
sources, so.
I'm just throwing stuff out there on the wall,
Yeah.
cause while we're in construction phase,
And I tell you that, and I've said it before, I've been to an event, a wedding there, and that's probably the
oh, it's
the
fine.
most picture-perfect setting and
Yeah.
venue to have a wedding or have
Just
an
costs so
event.
dang
It's
good
just a
much.
matter- Yeah, it does, but it's, if
wedding.
like Ms. Smith said, if there's an opportunity that we can put something more permanent there that will get people drawn, it's
Yeah.
a great asset to have.
Yeah, and one of the
It really
meetings we were in where this came up, there was multiple people from downtown, and it was, I think Mike or one of us brought it up, like, well, we were always hesitant to that, because we thought y'all'd be like, oh, that's our view, and they actually said, no, we would welcome that, because
Right.
that would draw people, give
Yeah.
people places to go, allow us to do more
Right.
down there, because we don't have any green spaces, we don't
Yeah.
have any openings, so it would allow at the foot of Main Street
Right.
something
Okay.
to have things.
Yeah, let's look at benefit, cost benefit analysis.
The numbers game.
Thank you.
But we can look at that,
Yep.
and that's obviously subject to negotiation as we move forward.
Okay, cool.
Get a motion?
Make my motion to, approve the 34,000 to hire Moffett and Nickel.
Motion by Councilman Hoffman.
I'll second it, but
Second
where's
by Councilman
34,000 gonna come from?
That's the point of discussion.
We got a negative
Yeah.
balance.
I know.
We have to get it out the general fund.
General fund.
So motion include the 34,000 come from general fund?
Yes.
All right. We have a second by Councilman Allenby,
Yep.
right? Okay. Vote the motion.
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate the information. Look forward to working with you guys.
And that'll be put back in whenever
Gary,
anything comes
I
out.
thought Chris Ross said he was gonna cover it as part of the board.
He's a nice guy, isn't he?
He is a
Swell
nice-
fella. We're working on you. We're working on you. Trying to get you up there.
We'll get there eventually.
We may save
Thank
you
you.
once we
Pay
get the
for the
recommendation of the
hard
total.
Right.
All right.
Alright.
Next item up, Mayor.
Yeah, rental rates for the depot ground. We, still have the $400 a day, $200 a day for nonprofits. If you just wanted the bathrooms, $50 a day, everything else stayed the same. I know Gary sent a note in, and we usually have that on our events, you know, for any type of major events and this and that, you know, you have to have insurance and all, you know, and all, and that would be added on to our, permit and everything for when, if this happens.
So the only thing it is, define a large event. What is a large event? 25 people, 50 people, 100 people? And should we define that? Should we just say for large events? Note, for large events.
Where's that at?
Is that 100 people or
Yeah,
50, you know?
I agree with
how do
you
you-
saying,
I
because
don't know.
you're gonna have to have like a tier
Right, I mean, I don't
system.
know.
Do we use,
Well, how do you define what a
somebody's
large
using
event
the
is?
small one, the big one?
I don't know.
I think anytime you have something for money, you know, that you're making the money on, putting on a big event, I think that needs to be considered a large event.
So
What if
any
number-
for-profit, well, like a wedding.
Well, I think
I mean,
if it's a huge, well, you know, if it's going out there, you know, 5, 6 people,
Right, that's what I'm saying, define large, I'm just
Yeah,
saying define large
I don't
event.
know.
And that was my question, if that's worth it, endeavoring, but, you know, we'll say, oh, but you're not a large event, you only get 56 people, you're 60 people, you're a large event, so.
I like the idea. I mean,
don't know.
I mean, Long Beach does it to where it's a tiered to where you use, it is a base rate. You're shutting down, if you're having, say, let's say a car show, you're probably not using every stage, every area there. So do we look at, okay, it's an add-on, so it's a base, but then if you use both stages and the.
Yeah, don't make it complicated, I just,
No, I think-
defining
I do-
size is
I mean,
what.
I think is merit to, okay, I mean, there is gonna be a little bit of, I mean, there's gonna be a difference on the applications and the usage of it, so do we look at more of just a tiered, and I know it makes it a little, I don't wanna say subjective, but it makes it a little, you know, it's not clear cut, but I think it could be clear cut is, are you using those pavilions? No, we know there's not electricity cost there, so you're not, you know, if that's $50 per, then, you know, so.
Ground rentals is not defined. In other words, ground rentals with the stage, without a stage, or they just wanna park cars in there and just hang out.
When I worked on that ground rentals meant you're basically renting the entire facility.
What's that mean, Mike? You talking in from in?
Shut the road down, it's all yours. So
$400.
all pavilions, all bathrooms,
All pavilions, all bathrooms, $400.
for arts fair, birthdays, celebration. If you wanna have a wedding and take the whole kit and caboodle, it would be that per day.
And we're not delineating whether that's Monday through Thursday, Friday, Sunday, it's gonna be, cause we did that on the community centers, we did that on everything else, so.
I mean, arts and crafts, festivals, they're not having that on a Wednesday. It's gonna be a weekend.
Yeah, I know, we need. to
And then again,
define it.
we went,
Yeah.
based on your comments, you said
Right.
kinda half price for not-for-profits. That's when the $200 came instead of 0.
Yeah, I was just saying, I mean, that's something to consider, that's the thing what Long Beach does, but
But
I
if-
think they get council approval,
like,
it's a verified.
What's the car show people,
Misfit,
the Misfits, they're not using stages, they're parking some cars.
they just park,
But
yeah, they park.
They
in
wanna have the
street.
bathrooms open. All right, we can charge them $50 to keep the bathroom open, they can park their cars, eat across the street.
Right.
They're not using the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, that's what I said, it gets
you know.
cumbersome trying to figure every little
And then-
detail out, but.
The note at the bottom was really a kind of a disclaimer saying, the city has the right, the administration can say, you're having this large event, you gotta bring in your own dumpster,
Well,
you
that's
need
what I'm saying.
portalets,
What
you
is-
need
yeah, how do-
police,
yeah.
you know.
I
Kinda,
just wondered what large event meant.
and I
that's
think
all.
Gary made a comment, which I thought was a good one, I kinda forgot about it, I think Josh might have said it, but, you know, what about an insurance policy to protect the city?
Right.
You know,
Should
so
be on
I'm
every-
playing phone tag with
That should be on the
Slidell right now,
application, that should be submit part
you
of
know,
it, yeah.
so, you know, do we need to be named additional insured on some type of policy if somebody's having a large event? You know, so those are, I think that's something we might be able to add in there, that, hey, we may require this, be on alert,
Okay,
you know.
all right.
But-
Good start, I mean, we gotta start
and
somewhere.
It gets us
Look,
something,
and
and
again,
and
yeah,
it can
this-
always be amended as we approach budget in about 2 months, but it gets at least something in the lines, 'cause I know we have a festival trying
I
to
think
get
these
here.
rates are too low. I think more research needs to go into this. I mean, $400 a day from end to end.
But
Come on.
again, if you go look at the other cities, such as
Yes.
Long Beach, D'Iberville,
this is a decent rate.
Falls right
I
in
mean,
with.
Kyle, you
whatever
looked at
else.
Long Beach,
Yeah, I mean,
Yarraville.
they've got the splash pad.
know?
I mean, I don't think they've got the square footage what we've got there in terms of the grounds, but I mean, they've got similar amenities with pavilion and a little gazebo.
Bathroom.
But they don't have, I mean, they don't have.
And I would also comment,
greenery.
the 1.5 million Gulf Coast Restoration Funds is for economic development.
Right.
Is to bring people there.
Yeah, and
So
that's,
this encourages trying to have the
But
festival
we're
and
not,
have the
yeah,
other
I
stuff.
mean, I just wanna make sure
You're
one.
still, they're gonna, the festival, I would assume, I haven't even looked at the flyer, but is it 2 days? I mean, they're probably gonna need that thing. So it's $400 per day.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure it covers expenses, and then it gives us ability to have a bit of a fund to where if we have to do a repair, I mean, those, we know what happens to this bathroom. I mean, they get used
tore
and
up.
abused, so I mean, to where we can actually build a little bit of a fund to it there, to where this
Bathrooms
application.
are the biggest concern.
Absolutely.
everywhere.
So I mean, it'd be nice, and not
So
trying
there's
to.
only one urinal in the men's room. At least
So,
fair
Still
cost
can't
would be
figure
down.
that out.
I mean, I think, like you said, it's always asterisk, subject to change, and we look
But,
at
Yeah,
evaluating.
look,
That's anything, I think
if
you-
this is not working,
You have the right to
3 months
amend
down
it.
the road, we can come in and amend what it is. Budget time, we can see how it is 6 months
Yeah,
down
'cause
the
I mean,
road.
it's not very utilized at all.
No,
I
I
mean,
think
for the
there's a lot
space,
out
yeah.
there
Sounds
wanting,
like it will be.
there's some events
hope-
coming up.
Sounds like there's a lot of events coming.
There's a lot of events coming up for it back there. And again, like you spoke, this is for economic development, and that's what we're trying to do. And wanna make sure that's where we head, there is upkeep out there, no matter what, we have an event or not. But we wanna make sure that we are collecting some to pay our expenses. And whether it's bathrooms, whether it's pavilions, whether it's electricity being used or whatever, but there's more events, there's plenty of events looking at coming back there. So I think it can do what it was, the purpose was, intended purpose was to create the economic development and start tying in downtown and Depot and get it revitalized. I think it's, that has already taken off before this was finished, but I think this is something that can add to it back there to keep them going and to grow.
I still need to go back. If somebody was having a birthday and they wanted to use one of those little pavilions, it would cost them $400 for the whole day, and they would get all 3 pavilions.
No, they can go use it if they don't wanna reserve it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Washington Pavilion.
It's Washington Pavilion. Look, if you want to, just for you, you go rent it out. But if you're at that pavilion, just like the splash pad over there at that pavilion, or the splash pad, little birthday party, you can use it for your birthday party, but other people can use it as well.
It's not guaranteed that you.
I thought we talked about, I don't see it on here, about if you wanted to reserve just the pavilion like 2 weeks ahead of time, if you could pay $50 or something to, that is something we talked about last meeting that I don't see on there.
One of the comments was, if somebody goes 6 months in advance and pays $50 for a pavilion on a Saturday, but then all of a sudden someone calls us and says, we would like to take the whole grounds and have a blues festival.
Right.
We can't rent it for the blues festival at that point because that one pavilion's reserved. So I think
Yeah.
that's where the timeline, that
Like a
was, that was
2
something we
week, yeah.
discussed and tried to say, well, if I wanted to, we,
Right,
we don't want to, because that's what I do. If I was having a birthday, I'd lock it up 6 months in advance.
right,
And that date's gone. It's no longer available.
And I don't know.
So how do we protect
right, no,
what we're trying to do?
right.
The county, I mean, I think it's similar to what they charge for the county, the pavilion, Washington Pavilion. I don't know if the
I think it's
conference-
like $50.
Yeah, it's 50 or 75.
Yeah,
dollars,
50 or
similar.
75.
Not much.
And I would say if someone's planning a large event, I mean, the Mermaids do the Arts and Crafts Festival
Takes months to plan.
or Blues Festival. That stuff is planned. They're locking that stuff up 6 months plus. So I
Well,
mean,
that's
if we wanted to put something where there was a pavilion fee kind of thing for $50 and just put, can only be reserved like 2 weeks out, or that way you kind of know you're not blocking that other opportunity.
Anything big
That
can
was
be
just, that was
planned
something
way
we
in
discussed, is saying, let's push them to McDonald Field, that type of thing. I mean,
What you can say,
it's up to
Gary?
y'all.
No, I mean, I think it's a starting point. We got to
Yeah,
get something
starting
in
point.
place.
We can add that language in there as well.
But I mean, again, going back, if somebody on a Saturday just said, I'm going out there at 10 o'clock and reserving it, just jumping on it, it's not reserved, that's what they do now. I mean, that wouldn't stop.
No, no, it's still
Yeah.
a public park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right, need a motion?
Yes.
Motion, approve rates for, train depot grounds.
All right. Motion by Councilman Seal, we have
Second.
second by Councilman Reed. Any further discussion? Let the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 6-0. One more item, Mayor.
Oh, this was something we added there, down in the harbor, you know, we're doing the extension of the fuel docks and everything. Wanting to purchase 2 of the fish cleaning tables for that area. It was part of the project will be reimbursed through Tidelands. I think this is all Tidelands fund, so we'll be reimbursed for this as well. Chose to just order it ourselves. That way we saved a pretty good bit of money on it, you know, from the markup and all that they had. So I think everybody's got what it is, but it's for 2 7.5-foot killer dock fish cleaning tables with the canopies on them.
Motion.
This is, Mayor, this is for 2 tables, this amount, or for 1?
2.
Okay.
$5,995 a piece. Total $11,490.
That one company's pretty proud of their product.
Yeah, I'm telling you, huh?
Jeez.
We'll build what you
The other
want.
bid was $30,000.
Yeah.
They're even more proud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that
yeah. It's
Y'all got a
It is.
picture?
Huh?
There you go.
That's a blue canvas, like,
them sail, what they call them, sail canopies or whatever they call them. That type of material, heavy.
y'all gotta bring power to it, huh? For the light.
Yes.
But again, reimbursable.
Hmm?
Reimbursable.
Yeah.
It's all under Tidelands. It's in the original grant application with them.
And we'll fund it from where?
General fund.
Well,
Well,
it'll
Ain't
have to
no
be
money.
paid for first.
right, so they'd be paid for out the general fund and reimbursed through the Tidelands. All right, motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Seal, second by Councilman Nabok. Any further discussion? Let the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 6-0. All right. And council, I'd just like to propose maybe a quick, just switch on the agenda. If we can allow public forum, I think we do have 1 or 2 that are here to speak. And then we can do council business.
Yep.
Y'all okay with that? We at least want to get you home for dinner. At least somebody can get home at a decent hour. I understand.
I don't have all
understand,
those
but
problems
update.
that y'all have got. My
We got
name is
one up.
Debbie Mays. I live at 331 Main Street. And I'm here to talk to you about the acoustics in the community center. They're terrible. The speaking, you can't hear. It's not just what they were trying to show us on the 2045. I quit going over there, and I know several people have stopped going to any kind of the event because you cannot hear or understand anyone. And so some engineer could figure out how to keep those acoustics down. It is, when we left the other night, when I was trying to watch your show, 13 of us left at the same time. And I don't know how many other people left because you cannot understand. Have you not been yourselves and listened? It's a shame that we can't have a community center that you can have guests in and you can't even hear the music when you're in there. If they're up on the stage, they might as well be out on the street.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Riso, I know we had briefly discussed a week or so ago, I know that came up about the meeting at the community center and the acoustics and some of the
Yeah.
other things.
Looking at
So
that now.
Well, the
It's
good news
not-
is, instead of planning on having 60 or 70 people, we had 135 people. So we had a small PA system. The PA box that was
It
in there, there
doesn't
are
matter.
speakers that hang from the ceiling, but the PA box that was in there that was not able to be used. So that's something I've got in a meeting with the guy who did this sound to get that replaced and repaired. The box we used, it was sufficient for a small crowd. It was not sufficient for the crowd we had in that facility. So we are looking to put that PA system back together so that those speakers that are hanging in the air can be used.
Well, even if you had
I
the
know if you had a
speakers,
band in there,
it
And
makes
has-
no difference,
Yeah.
does she
That
is
has
correct.
nothing, sir, that has nothing to do with it because it rebounds in there so badly, you can't hear. I don't care what kind of system you're gonna have unless you do something with the sound system. I mean, with hanging
Yeah, we-
Yeah,
something.
Yeah, and that's partly why. I
That's
think
part of
it's-
what
Yeah.
is in
These-
here.
These will not be big enough, I can tell
Right,
you.
it,
No.
it's, you
I'm
gotta
not
look
an
at what the size.
engineer, but I
yeah,
can
yeah.
tell you that they need to hang something down in that place and including in the kitchen. It's terrible.
again, I have a meeting with the same sound people who did this room to
Mr.
look at that
Rabelais, let me
facility.
just stop you. So first of all, it's the it's the council's decision to change an agenda item, and we did, okay? And so I understand that, but it's a council decision to do that, and I appreciate not having outbursts out in the crowd, and you should know as being a representative of the city that it's those that sit up here, it's our decision to do that, not anybody else's, you understand?
Sir, if you're gonna spend some money, get someone that knows about sound to show you what to do with it.
That's
I
not-
really appreciate it if you
No.
do that. I may live long enough to hear it.
But we appreciate the feedback, and
Thank you.
it came up after the meeting, that is something that their administration's addressing, so we appreciate you
Yeah.
letting us know
Thank
about
you.
it. Yes, ma'am.
Thank
I'll
you.
see y'all.
Thank you.
Thank
All right. Next item up, council business. First item is Historic Preservation Commission Appeal, First Baptist Church.
I know Heather's got some information on this as well. Talked with the church today. They do have two interesting parties, waiting to hear back, before they move forward. I know Heather's got some other information in a letter from.
Yeah, so what I would request is that we put this on the next council agenda meeting because they want to make sure neither one of these parties, I think they're doing a cost benefit analysis right now, the third parties, to see if they could get the property moved. So at this point, the church didn't have anything to add as far as whether or not they could get the property. So I think it would just be a good idea to put it on the next agenda, so hopefully in 2 weeks, they'll have a solid answer of whether or not the house, because if the house could be moved,
Right.
then, we could take care of some issues in itself. So I feel like y'all, I thought you guys needed to have that information in order to make a decision.
Yeah, I agree. You have two different people looking at relocating if it's feasible. So I think, we're trying to, it was an 1850 structure, I think. So 1880, so if you can, save a structure like that, even if it's relocated, it's worth the effort. And you got two people that are really looking to spend the money if it's cost effective to do that, so I'd like to.
And if it's
continue
even,
them.
if it even physically can be
Right.
moved. And so I think those are the things that's being evaluated, both of which are important pieces of the pie for y'all to have when you consider your ultimate decision.
Good.
All right.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Burke, for.
Jeremy, make sure that's on the agenda for the next meeting, please.
All right, next item, pickleball court discussion. Mr. Kenichi.
I think y'all had asked Jason last meeting, I think, to come back with a cost, two
Yeah.
courts. I think he sent it out in his, paperwork, yeah.
Yeah, Kyle, in our report, we've got a breakdown, a new site plan, a revised site plan that shows, parking along Almond Avenue, and then 2 pickleball court with fences and lights and sidewalk and stuff tied into the restroom trailer, or restroom facility. Rough estimated cost on that is about $220,000. That includes the paving, the electrical, I mean, it's everything that's included in that first phase.
And just for the courts, what'd you say it was, without the parking?
Yeah, just the courts is
about 80,000. They're about $40,000 a piece. And the foundation kind of depends on a couple different things, but $40,000 to $50,000 a piece.
So 100,000, we can get 2 courts built,
Right.
lights and all, fence?
No, that's just the court.
Yeah, but I mean with the lights and fence and
Yeah,
everything.
well, the parking is about $100,000 just for the parking. For the paving, stone, all the dirt work and everything, so.
So to get 2 fields, roughly $100,000 lit, fenced?
Right.
I mean, and this is just, and it's probably not feasible, but in terms of the park, so we're looking at 2 courts. I mean, we can't estimate, I mean, I can't imagine there's gonna be a whole lot of traffic.
Well, I
mean,
think-
is the parking adequate to what we have now to
Yeah.
speak
I
to?
think so.
Yeah, parking would be
You
adequate
know,
for today.
I think we
Not
have
holding the
adequate
tournaments and that.
parking.
No, yeah, so. I
Got
mean,
8 people out there, 10 people
Right.
out there.
Right.
You know, I think that's
So if we can
the
just get
reason
enough,
I'd ask
get
Jason for a price without parking,
Yeah.
because I do think we have adequate parking for it.
Yep.
Moving forward, as we add on to the courts and everything, I think that's where we need to develop. And if we can start, you know, we might be able to come up with the funds to add the paving at a later date.
Right.
You know, the parking and all on that side.
We could use rocks.
You sure?
That's the text
Sure.
amendment we need to look, to do. We need a
We had that
border,
conversation.
we need a,
What
we need a
ordinance you reading?
4-foot border.
We're not paying people to park here, so you can use rocks.
We need a 4-foot
So,
border
Jason,
with
what was
hard surface.
rough
to
estimate on the
keep
lights,
rocks from
the
getting in
lighting?
the road.
Yeah.
The electrical,
Electricals is just a single light, wasn't it? It's not not
I
lighted
think
courts.
it's one on
Yeah.
each side, right?
Yeah, but
yeah,
it's
I
not
think we
lighted
just have
courts.
4 lights all the way around it,
Yeah, I think that's
For
for the lit court.
general lighting.
But is that
About
for,
$10,000 for the lighting.
Okay.
and that allow night play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would
It
just,
doesn't take much lighting.
I just.
You know, I
didn't
mean,
know what the
when that
lights-
guy came made his presentation, I'm thinking he might only have 1 light on each side per
Yeah, I
court.
think he had 2.
It's-
Wow,
yeah.
okay.
And we have 4, I mean, we've got walkways around the court, so that's why we added a couple extra, just
Okay.
to light this area.
Was this the approved, whatever the association is, the pickleball association approved surface? Is that what this
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
This is
Okay, so
size
if you
and
ever,
everything.
ever one day wanted to expand and do it.
This-
and I would just comment and talk to the mayor on it, but, you know, the 2 companies that we met with, one I think was from Hattiesburg that builds courts, and another one I think was from Mobile. That this is what they specialize in. Both of them, though, said, if you build it right.
Right. No, yeah.
Because you will be hearing from the users.
Yeah.
So the lighting, the fencing in the right
Yeah.
places, you know, so
Yeah.
if you're gonna
It's a
build it,
popular
I would
sport.
highly recommend, you know, don't just think of cement on the ground and put some paint down.
No.
You wanna make sure it's right, cause, you know,
Well,
they
they
gotta
had a,
chase balls down and everything else, they will come back at you.
There was an article on WLOX this week on pickleball courts in Biloxi. It was pretty impressive.
It is.
It is high demand, I think you can
Yeah,
expect it
Bill's
to
got some
increase.
nice indoor courts with all that tax
This at least
revenue.
gets you something.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
This will get us a start on what we wanna do and where we wanna go. You know, give us time to also look at, you know, if we wanna build everything here at this area, or if we wanna find another area where we can put multi-courts for tournaments and this and that. But again, I think it's a way to move forward with this. I would like to see us move forward. I think y'all agree that let's move forward, get 2 courts, put the bid package together, get it bidded out. I think we'll have enough savings as far as payroll savings to go to front this project right now.
All right. We need a motion or anything?
I think just,
I guess maybe to
Approval?
Motion to approve Jason to get a
move
bid package.
forward with,
Or is that,
and put it out for bids, Jason?
is it something we gotta put out for bid?
So this is gonna be done right, like,
Huh? Do what, Gary?
these are gonna be done correctly to,
Use one of those companies to do it right.
you need to do it that
I
way.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, this is gonna be,
So Jason, that's how you're gonna bid it out, right?
Pickleball expert you are.
We need a motion to
Jason.
approve Jason to put this out for bid, basically, for the construction of the proposed 2 courts with the fencing and lighting. Motion.
all right, we got a motion by Councilman Hoffman,
Second.
second by Councilman Knobloch. Discussion? Is that the motion?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
So
6-0.
does that include the advertising too? So y'all are just saying, Jason, go?
Yes.
yeah,
For 4th and make pickleball courts.
All right.
Two,
Thank
yeah.
maybe we'll
As
get a grant
presented.
to do 2 more in the meantime.
All right, last item up is discuss lease agreement renewal with Bay Waveland School District for recreational fields. So we did want to go ahead, I did ask to go ahead and discuss this, because I know we need to go ahead and get this updated. Ms. Smith, and I guess you can advise me on it, so the first step would be, obviously, you're gonna have to go mirror it off of what the current agreement is. Council had opportunity, yeah, I don't know if we actually.
What are
got
we
that.
changing?
Well,
So what are we changing? It's
What are
just
we doing?
And that's where I really need to know, is just, so I've reached out to the school district a couple of times and haven't really gotten much of a response. So the lease is expired, so we just, I think the last one was 25 years old. So, I know there was an amendment at some point, I can't remember.
This
off
is
the
just
top
for
of
the girls softball field?
This
No,
is
this
my
is the entire
complex.
complex.
The whole
Sports
complex?
This
Yeah.
is my complex, 6 fields.
Okay.
my I know that the girls complex, I think, has been, did that amendment take the girls out, or the
Yeah,
girls
so
are
that was
still in
something
it?
we did with
I'm-
the girls, and that's why I was wondering.
So we're trying to just put the history together, because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a 25-year-old agreement. So I just need some guidance. You know, I can call the school district all day long, but I need to know more from you guys, what direction, what we're asking for, because at this point, it's us asking them. I mean, we're at their mercy. It's their
So
crown.
going forward with that, what would it take to allow just the ordinary citizen just to use tennis courts over there? I mean, because I talked to,
Gary, I'm laughing, not at you, I'm laughing with you, because.
I mean, they're all
I
locked
don't-
up
That has been a
every day.
fight.
Is it
Look,
liability?
what I
Not
always
having
say
a
is the
key
only
on it?
person in this room that could complain about that is me.
Gonna get banned.
And
You
I'm
play tennis?
not, no, it's my front yard. And I don't, I mean, it wouldn't, it wouldn't bother me. So I don't know. I've asked, that's a question I've asked
We've been
multiple
at
times. They've had some liability.
Well, I
concerns.
spoke to
that-
Mike Bell a while back, and he says it's just a matter of the city working it out with them to get insurance.
Well, and that's not and that's where I was going with this. I mean, I have another client
We
that
heard that
I work
before.
with.
Yeah, and then it was no. You can't use them because you're gonna tear them up. You have liability, they're gonna cut the net. they're gonna
Liability
tear the
thing
feet,
for one thing.
tear 'em up,
Vandalize it.
vandalize them, and
You know, it's my understanding you can go to the school and they'll allow you to use them, go fill out the information and all, go get the key. I don't know, never tried it,
Yeah.
but it's my understanding they allow it. Again, it's just taking responsibility for the court and
So-
helping with the maintenance on it.
That
So
was the
Mayor,
biggest
maybe,
thing.
and I think we've discussed this before, if, when we are able to get a rec director, if we task them and discuss that with the school district, okay, if it's a matter of having somebody control that key and being able to moderate it, would that be something the rec director would kind of fall under their purview? I mean, I don't know, I'm just thinking here, but, I mean, if that's the issue, I mean, I know liability and the concern of it getting
I
vandalized.
think it's the wear and tear and the liability on it, you know, if it's
vandalism
left
is their
open and you
biggest
go out
deal.
there and somebody gets on there with a skateboard
Yeah,
and destroys the court, who's paying for it?
Yeah.
And,
We had that
I mean,
issues with the old court. I mean, the old courts
And
were open.
they
and
were open.
They got, the nets got tore up and the lights got busted.
And I understand where it's coming from. I'd love to see them open. If it's something we can work out an agreement with them to say, hey, we're willing to flip the cost, but y'all split costs on the upkeep of them, you know. I don't know how often they gotta be resurfaced. I think that guy in the
What do you-
meeting we talked
Was it
about
every 5
before,
years? 4 or 5 years?
yeah,
That was
something
with
like
Talking
that. It need
Pickleball
to be
Tennis came up.
resurfaced. You know, if we're willing to go in cost with them with that, I don't know. I think it's good. They have 6 of them now, I think it is. Maybe they could open 3 up.
Well, if the problem is they're all open, right? If you could fence one off, but there's benches in between, right?
Yeah, I
So
don't
if you
think-
could fence one off just for public use, but the way it's set
We
up,
could
it's
fence
just,
3 off maybe.
well, you just can't, it's hard to
do
do
three.
because of the
I
way,
think
There's
do
that
3, right?
middle,
Yeah,
so
that-
not without, I mean,
you'd have to remove the
really
benches.
you would mess with probably the beautiful, I mean, it's a really pretty facility. And so if you go try to divide it in the middle,
Right. We looked it up,
'cause-
trying to figure out how to make it work years
because
ago.
where the
We've been
entrances
talking about
are and
this
the bathrooms, it's not really designed that you could just go.
Yeah.
One thing, if we could get the funding, I think they would allow us to build some now.
Yeah.
and that's where, and I don't know if we all have, can we get that for the next meeting, can we get that, what the current agreement is?
I've actually asked Caitlin to do a search on basically the original agreement and I think it was
The
an
amendment.
amendment.
Because I thought I
So-
had it, but then what I had was only a couple pages
not
of
the
it,
whole
so I didn't have
thing,
the
and
full
school-
document.
I ain't
Look
been here
for
that
it
long.
So I'm trying to
also.
get that for y'all.
You sure?
I don't think I've been
School
here that
doesn't
long.
have it, you know,
Let me look at
No,
my-
it's
the one in
over
95.
25 years.
So it's just the
before
amendment
you.
that we have, the short, the 3 or 4 pages, just amendment to the original.
Well, I came across the original, but it's like the first, it's not the signature line, so it's like the first 2 pages. I don't even know where that came from, and I had my secretary search all my my stuff just to say if I had, at some time, anybody had given me a copy and we can't find anything.
Well, they're in the process looking, and again, the school's trying to find it as well.
And I'm sure it's gonna be very similar. I mean, I don't know if a whole lot is, I mean, changed originally. I don't know if what's been added, some of those cages maybe, but I guess just making sure there's agreement in place, and if there ever is some development and improvements being made, we just wanna make sure that there's terms that solidify the fact that we're, that we're still able to
Well, and
use it. And
that's the first question I have is how many years do you wanna go? I mean, are we wanting to do a another
Dollar
25?
for 25 years.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I would encourage a long-term lease. 'Cause
Yeah.
If you're going to.
I think it needs to be.
Yeah.
What's
It's gotta be. I mean, if we're gonna keep
Right.
spending money
Correct.
there and
Yes.
improving it,
So
we
with,
need.
with that, Ms. Smith, so there's no term notification for I'm sure it's just for calls? Is it for calls?
I don't know what the
Okay.
current.
No, I'm just saying, we would put in there where we wouldn't just get a 60-day notice one day and say, hey, sorry,
Well,
vacate.
and that's where it gets sticky as to what they'll allow you to do.
Yeah.
I mean, what I would, if this was a private person, I would say, no, we need a 25-year lease that with basically like an AM schedule that if
Yeah.
you
Oh, so-
terminate this, we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
But
I
we're in
just
a
don't-
little bit of a different situation because technically when you start looking at what a city can and cannot spend money on and being a school district property,
Yeah.
you get a little different than you have in a private lease. So some of it's just what will they allow us to do.
But I do think, I mean, going with that, you made that AM schedule. You're talking about when you invest lots of money in your fields, and those fences and everything else, you want to make sure you got a term that
Long enough to-
you kind of get your money back,
Yeah,
your
right,
investment
yeah.
back. And they can't just, so if they wanted to say get out, I think there ought to be a buyout clause to give us that money, back to protect the citizens.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
think
I
so. I think the long term is a good idea.
And I'm guessing,
Basketball's
Mayor,
willing
that,
to say.
has the city ever looked at, or would the school district be interested in transferring it to the city, even with a reverter clause, that if it's not used as a city sports complex, it reverts back to the school district? I mean, that's something too that I don't know if it's ever been discussed. I've got another client that's what they have, and it works well because it protects the school district, that if the city can't decide, hey, I wanna sell this and we wanna, put whatever, we can't surplus it, cause it would automatically revert to the school district, but then it takes the school district, the liability off the school district, because it would become city property. So I don't know if that's something they're interested in, but
I know they're not interested in selling.
then,
With that, I don't know. That'd be something to ask.
But I do think we need to engage and have another conversation with the school district. And what I'm hearing council is, is there an opportunity for tennis? It might be no, but at least, broach the subject.
So I was just reading. I was able to get the old, but it's just like you said, Ms. Smith, the first 3 pages
Yeah.
of the original, but I was just trying to
That's
see
what
what.
you have, Kyle,
Yeah, I
first
just,
3 pages.
so it is in 5-year increments after the commencement of the 25. Okay. But yeah, if we can kind of see what some of those terms are, and if we need to modify it, and of course, pursuant to their approval and terms and things, but we just wanted to kind of get that going. Any other discussion, questions? All right. Any new business? Start with you, Councilman Alabot.
I'm good.
Got some seal?
Yeah, could somebody give me the 2022 rental sheet for the community center? I know there's a spreadsheet that has all the rentals for 2022. I mean, they keep track of how they rent that development out.
Okay.
Got some homework to do on that for just looking at.
You want the feet, or you want the?
How many times was reserved?
Oh,
There's a
yeah, gotcha,
spreadsheet that has
gotcha.
how many times who reserved it, and I just want to look at the cost and
do you want just the cost or who reserved it?
just the whole sheet, because it tells you how much
It
it
used to
reserved
tell you.
for. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can
It
look at
used to be
revenue.
Who rented it?
Yeah, you can do revenue expense report, but I just like to see, break down who rented it and how much it was, and.
Yeah, so you want the who, what, when, where?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
can figure out
Katie has a spreadsheet on
Somebody
it.
asked me about, if we could give nonprofits a break on the weekends, like $200 less than, so I'm just getting some numbers and seeing what makes sense. So, that was it. Thank you.
All right, one quick item, code enforcement, who's that falling under? Is that right now just under administration? I know we're.
building department's handling it now. We're looking at filling that position within the next week.
Okay,
Looking at someone in-house that's interested in it. That doesn't work out, there's someone else available, I think.
okay.
That
And
is
then-
interesting.
And then just a follow-up on the rec director position.
I think Mr. Riso has spoken to him today, trying to get some things ironed out.
No, I had a very good conversation with the candidate. Very, very interested in our role. Had just a couple of questions for me that I talked to the mayor about right before this meeting. And so hopefully we can solidify that within the week.
Awesome.
All right, so still negotiating then, huh?
To be determined.
But, I mean,
All righty.
I thought it was a very positive conversation.
Good.
Good deal.
I gave him a tour for 2 hours last week. You know, went to every facility, in and out.
Gilligan's Isle.
I got the tour. $3.
All right, that's all I've got. Councilman Hoffman,
I don't have anything tonight, thank you.
Councilman Reed,
Nothing.
Councilman Zimmerman.
I'm good.
Good. All right, next item up
Yeah.
is the project updates. Mr. Kenichi.
There is no other public forum, right?
No, the only other person was that they already left.
I didn't realize that. I didn't know if Cliff had seen, I didn't know if he was still sitting there.
Okay, we have one item that we wanted to discuss tonight. It's involving Hurricane Ida road repairs. And in our packet, our report, looks like it's item, where it is?
12.
12? Okay, yeah, so we've got some options with the way FEMA has this project laid out. These are there's about 60 streets involved, primarily in Ward 6. It's the roads that were surfaced with DBST shortly before Hurricane Ida. A lot of washouts, a lot of gravel that has washed away. So what FEMA has proposed is to come in and do the base repair to fix any washout areas, so it'd be gravel and sub-base repair. And then they're also proposing a mitigation, which would be to install or place some geogrid on top of the surface, and then come back and relay DBST for the surface boards. So that's what they have approved. Their cost is about $1.55 million. A couple weeks ago, or maybe a month or so ago, they threw out the idea of an improved project, and it's very confusing. So we had to meet with the
I was wondering about
DCMC
that.
folks several times to try to figure out exactly how this thing goes down. So my best understanding of it is they're going to cap the fund, FEMA would, or I guess MEMA. We have to do the gravel base repair to get the road back up to proper paving condition. We have to include the the mitigation component, which is the placement of the geogrid. And then, if the city wants to pay for the balance between what they would the cap funds of 1.5 million and what it would cost to pave the road with an asphalt, a 2-inch overlay, which I'm estimating is about 1.65 million, just for the paving, then we could go that route. The difference is the city would end up paying the difference between,
$100,000.
well, it's really not 100,000.
Okay.
So you gotta it's more than that. So you have to take out, they're not gonna pay for, the DBST
Okay.
estimate, which is about $1 million, was the base repair and DBST. The
We would pay the
mitigation is
difference.
about $600,000. So we would basically be on the hook for probably close to about $1 million or so.
We
Okay.
pay the
To pave
difference,
it.
Jason, between DBST and paving? Everything else has to be done?
Everything else has to be done. So
And we
only
would
thing
pay
that
the
they would take out is the DBST, since
Okay.
it doesn't make sense to put the DBST down if we're gonna pave
Pave
it.
it.
But we have to do
Okay.
the base repair. The base repair is only about 100,000. There's not a whole lot of that. But we have to do the hazard mitigation. And that's where it kind of threw everything off, because the hazard mitigation is about, I've got $565,000 plus $100,000 for the road repair. You're looking at $600,000, $700,000. Our estimate to pave it is 1.6 million, so the city would be on the hook for that balance, which is 900,000 or so.
Jason, it wouldn't be to where the base layer and everything is 600,000?
Right.
They they wouldn't give us that other million to go towards the 1.6.
Mm.
They're not even giving us for the DBST.
Right.
All they gonna pay is 600,000.
Right. They would pay for the base repair, the hazard
When it first
mitigation.
come out, it was thinking like Doug. was.
Well, I know, cause I
Yeah.
know FEMA's like, if you got a 79 Yugo, that's what I'm gonna give you back.
Yeah.
And even if they did, it would be worth a couple $100,000
Well,
to
yeah,
pay
we
these
paid
roads,
$100,000.
but not,
Expensive,
you
you
know,
Oh, no,
now
but
we're
I'm,
looking at
yeah,
over a million,
we had to
million
put
dollars to
yeah.
do it.
old lift stations back in.
No, I know.
We couldn't upgrade, which was, and it was cheaper. Nope, gotta put the old stuff back in.
Yeah.
More expensive.
Well, initially, if we didn't have to do the hazard, the mitigation component, then the numbers would work out to where 100,000, 200,000 to go out and pave it, but
Right.
we have to do that, so now that takes away from the paving cost, so, I think, in talking to the administration, I think to move forward with this as it's approved with the PW, but we wanted to mention that to the council and,
And this is 95% reimbursed.
right.
Yeah, it's just no $1 million laying around today,
No,
unfortunately.
I don't.
Jason, what is your next steps with this project to keep it moving?
So we just need to let MEMA know, if we're gonna request the approved project or improved project, which it sounds like that's gonna be a no. And then we can get authorization advertised for bids. It actually works out, the timing works out well, cause the way MDOT standards dictate the DBST, it's highly weather and temperature dependent. You remember when we did this a few years ago, we had to wait until after March, because you can't lay the DBST, I think it's from November through February. So the timing works out well. If we want to move forward with bidding that out, then now's the time to do it.
And Jason, with this, if it's more than what the estimate is, they pay that as well.
Right, so that's a
Correct.
good point. So it's a large project, even though with the mitigation component, it's a large project. If we didn't include the mitigation, we'd be under $1 million, and then it wouldn't be a large project, so they wouldn't pay on action. So we pretty much have to add that mitigation to it, so that if the bids come in at $2 million, then they pay for that $2 million.
Okay.
So you're gonna go back with DBST?
Right.
With a grid and
With the
a new base layer.
Well, it didn't work last time. Why is it gonna work this time, Jason?
With the mitigation is, the grid being installed, that'll give it some reinforcement.
But wasn't a lot of it underwater
A lot of it was because it was saturated for so long.
and it wasn't very,
Well, that's gonna happen again.
but hopefully it doesn't happen as soon as it's laid.
This sounds like it's not like a feasible plan to go back with the same stuff that you put in.
That's what FEMA's approving.
Yeah.
So if you want to pave it, then it'd be another $1 million
$1 million
to pave it.
Yeah, but, so what, what's the timing of this? Preferably we'd need to do it outside of hurricane season.
Yeah, so it'll take a month to advertise it and bid it.
Just saying, run the risk.
We're coming right up on it'll
Yeah.
be probably May or June before we're actually under construction.
So it got finished last time, right before hurricane season. Hurricane season's done, and it was destroyed
Well,
afterwards.
Can't we bid it to where it's outside of hurricane season to where the
What,
work's done?
October?
Then,
Yes.
but then your temperatures start dropping.
Yeah, what's the worst, lesser two evils? Running the risk of getting.
Well, it can't be done if temperatures are too low.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we get into
I don't-
past
yeah, it's a
November, then
good
we'd have
point.
to wait.
No, I
till-
was gonna say do September, October.
Yeah.
Start on it,
I mean, we could time it so that we're,
What is the time
well,
frame to do
I
this?
mean, Ida was in August,
I
and
know,
Zeta was in
August,
Yes.
October, so
And
what is
August,
hurricane
September,
season
October
now?
seems to be the worst time.
Probably better to try to get it going before,
Get it done early.
get it done earlier.
What's the time frame for the job?
I think we're looking at about 3 months, 60 to 90 days.
And you're still gonna pay for it for 20 years.
Oh, hey, you sit there and remember that discussion I had about DPST? I wasn't for it, but we thought we could make more roads prettier using it.
And some of the old stuff has lasted a long time, still out there.
Yeah, I mean, some of it does, but it just,
Yes.
once it gets a little cracked, once a little bird bath in it, and it just,
What majority of the streets had DBST coatings in the?
I don't know off the top of my head.
It's
I mean, there was a
high
whole phase
percentage
of,
them.
yeah, it's a
very
pretty high
percentage.
percentage.
it's better than what we had, yeah. And hopefully the geo-base.
And it's mainly a lot of the lower traveled,
Exactly.
none of the main roads, but
Right.
of the side streets.
Side streets that are building up, huh?
Yeah.
That's the problem. No, I mean, I don't understand what we did.
It's a cost-effective
Cost
measure.
effective at the moment to get the streets from being mud and holes in them to
Amen.
having a base and something on them.
So Jason,
Alright.
you need us to,
We just need
Okay.
anything.
I don't think we need anything, tonight. We'll notify MEMA that we're not going to request the approved project. And then we'll finish the design based on, the PW that's been approved, and we'll come back and act for authorization to advertise, probably at the next meeting in April, second meeting, at least we can get that authorization. That's all we really had to discuss. Our report's there, if you have any questions about anything.
The stop sign reports, can you send those to Caitlin to put in part of the minutes?
Yes.
All the,
Yeah, I had a breakdown of what my recommendations were in this report.
yeah, I just saw, you had, you
And I had a-
identified 3 of them, only 3 of the, I don't know how many we put over the past year, but you only recommended 2 out of the 3 to be.
Yeah, so the other one, item 3, and I can break down item 3 of what locations those are. On page 2, I said all the other ones, I'm recommending that they stay in place.
Right. Yeah,
Just because they've been there so long, so if we start taking down stop signs that have been there, that's gonna be confusing to the motorists.
yeah, as long as your recommendation
Yeah.
states that they're legitimate, need to stay in place, then,
We did recommend taking the one from Turner Street down.
okay.
I think someone already took care of that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody kept knocking it down, right? Let's move it anyway.
That was a pretty easy recommendation.
But yeah, let's get that report so we can make it part of the minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else, council, for Mr. Kenichi? All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank
Appreciate the update. All right, next, Mr. Riso, city clerk's report.
Just a simple, motion to approve the docket of claims 23-00014 dated April 4, 2023 in the amount of $338,228.08. I didn't receive any comments.
I'm sorry, I had I was looking at, and I did see one thing I didn't get a chance to email you on, but it's, just the tree removal at the Boys and Girls Club, I think it was 2100.
The what?
Is it tree removal
Yeah.
at the
Yes.
Boys and Girls?
That was one for the insurance. It was growing,
Okay.
big old tree touching the building.
Was it dead, or, I mean, it was just.
No, just insurance needed it moved,
Got it.
wanted it moved.
Okay, all right.
And that's a very good price.
Yeah, that's all,
Yeah, so.
all right, that's all I had.
Motion to
Entertain a
approve
motion.
docket.
Motion by Councilman Seal,
Second.
second by Councilman Hoffman. Any discussion? Got the motion?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 6-0.
Next, just a motion to amend budget for this year's fiscal budget, and it was basically just adding the $8,000 for the travel for the police.
It's 7.
And we moved to 8.
I think you moved,
8 from, you move 8 from payroll to travels, to workshop, seminars, and travel.
Yeah.
Do what?
Oh, but
I think
it says 7 in the mayor's report.
Well, that's how much we, spending up to 7,000.
Yeah.
not to exceed 7.
Not to exceed 7, so we transferred 8 from payroll to travel, to workshop, seminars, and travel in the budget.
It's not all being spent on this one travel.
We're
Motion
still at
approved.
7,000 was approved for travel for
Finished
Washington.
discussion?
No. Did I make a motion?
Councilman
Sure
Allen,
did.
Oh, I made a motion?
Whatever, Doug.
I don't remember.
You made a motion. Further discussion, we'll have the opportunity. All right. Second. Do you have a
Where are we
second?
now? Second.
Second by Councilman Hoffman. Any further discussion on the amendment of the budget? So just to clarify, Mr. Russo, that additional could be used for other travels, other seminars, other.
They could.
Other
Yeah.
training, yeah.
Training, okay. Any other discussions? With the motion?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Up next is consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
A motion by Councilman Seal. Second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Hoffman. Further discussion?
Yeah, well, let's prove this and we'll talk about cash balances after.
Any other discussion with
What's that,
Councilman?
Councilman? What did he say?
I said we'll talk about cash balances after we get done with this.
Any other discussion, council, before we vote? All right, with the motion?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 6-0.
Go ahead. I'd like to say something after before we adjourn.
Yeah, just the harbor fund, so what are we doing there? What's the plan moving forward?
I think they're waiting on reimbursements.
We don't have, I'm not sure we have any.
Doesn't show we have any at all.
Well, I think we paid out
Well, we
70
transferred,
something last docket.
so we transferred 37,000 for the federal grant, so did that go back into a different, to the grant bucket? Or is that going back into the harbor bank account? We wrote out 28,000, we transferred 37, but I don't know if that went back into the harbor general or it went back to harbor grant.
I'm not
I don't-
sure. I don't know.
I have to find, get that information.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm just asking where we're at.
We'll send an update on the whole thing
Yeah,
with the harbor.
Yeah, what do we plan on doing there? That's all. Let's get us,
I have one thing.
Yeah, go ahead, Councilman.
I spoke last meeting about moving $400,000 from the utility, account to the utility capital and maintenance fund.
Yep.
I wanna make a motion to move that money,
okay,
400,000.
second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Nalbach, second by Councilman Seal. Any discussion? All right,
Moving from utility.
vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye, motion carries 6-0. All right, any other items, council?
Transfer?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
It's
just
supposed to have
taking,
been done.
making notes.
Yeah, we discussed
Yeah.
it, we discussed that.
Sissy probably have it on the next docket,
I mean, on the next cash balance.
on the next docket to transfer.
Guess that's to write the check.
From utility fund to capital maintenance. Yeah,
Yes.
like 900,000 in there or something.
Yeah, you have 825, 669 in the utility operating fund.
Kyle, if I,
Go ahead, Mayor.
no, y'all through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I just wanna, update, we sent an email out on legislature update and everything, was very fortunate to secure some funds. We, our guys did a heck of a job, with a lot of help from surrounding areas to get us some funds. We have, another $1 million coming towards the police department, which is gonna be a huge, that way we can take some of our cash that plan on putting up, for it. They'll take and put that back into our reserve account and, use some of that as well,
How much
for
do
other
we
things.
need to finish the police department with furnishings, everything?
That was part of
Well, they putting that together, I think for after everything is said and done, I think we're probably looking at in the 400,000 to 500,000, chief, for security, furniture and this and that and everything. So with the money out of the bond we're using and this here, we should still probably be able to put close to $1 million back into our reserve fund or,
I'd like to replace that bond money
That's what, yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
with that, and we could use it for, if you need.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you what, this DBST, that's a terrible idea,
Yeah.
terrible idea.
What now? What did you say?
but
Going back in Ward 6 with the same stuff that,
Hey,
especially right before hurricane season again.
also was able to get, I think it's 1.4 million for the 88 boardwalk for downtown. Again, we won't know the total expense of that till we bid it out, no telling what it could be, but whatever it is, we're gonna move forward with the 1.4 million. Our match for that is 250,000, I think it is. Yeah, 20% of that, so, we'll be able to move forward on that, whatever that's gonna get us down the road. We're not gonna wait till we get the full, if it's more than what we have, we'll do whatever this will do. So we're very fortunate with that. I think we got 300,000 coming for Tidelands. I heard 3. I hope it's 350. That's part of the money. That and last year's Tidelands we'll take, reallocate, and put towards the repairs in the harbor along that east wall and the event deck there. So that's gonna be a, huge.
Is that stuff that, Moffitt's?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how, that's gonna be paid for out of that right there. And again, when we talked the other day down there, we want a permanent fix, we don't want a temporary fix, so, You know, we wanna make sure it's done
Yeah,
right.
it's been
so-
going on too long.
You know, this has been going, this has been going on since, I guess, since it was built. You know, it's not something that just started. It's been kicked down the road and everything. It's an opportunity to get those
But I gotta
repairs
say one
done.
thing, that rate sheet, report and that maintenance schedule that they put those two separate documents,
Mhm.
Mr. Seal paid for, it's extraordinary,
Yeah,
thing.
they're very good. This, you know,
I would,
again,
I would recommend everybody read it.
this is what they do.
Gary,
Yeah.
did you distribute that to everybody?
No, I sent it to you
I
to
have
do
it.
that.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
know if you, I have it in my bag to read.
Oh.
I haven't read it yet.
You know, and then also,
I
I
want to
think,
make sure if we can give it to everybody else. I didn't know if they,
Yeah.
I
let's
assume
do
they
that.
had it, so.
I think one of the other things, the county received some funds. I don't know the amount, but to redo the Washington Street Pavilion, where they're gonna build a redo the one that's there and also build a new one, or remove that one and put a new one up there. So,
Say that again, which one was that?
the Washington Street Pavilion,
What's wrong with it?
just updated, upgraded. The
Ask
pole,
them to get some, beach sandball.
the pole,
boards out
the
there.
pole, the pole barn, as they call it.
Put that in downtown.
But they're looking at some upgrades on that as well, so, you know, again. The what? Yeah, you can. That's gonna be, to provide, upgrades to tie into the utility authority from Stennis.
Yeah.
And all the upgrades out there. I think it is, more than 10 million, I think it is.
Yeah,
I don't know that exact number.
Yeah, it's around
they-
$10 million to provide to hook
They fully
Stennis into
funded
the
that
regional
as
system.
well, moving forward. So that's gonna be huge for the authority, you know. That's also gonna bring maybe our costs down a little bit with more
Yeah,
people
hopefully it'll
involved
increase
in it,
the
you know,
flow.
higher
Cool.
usage. I think they will also supply the water for that as well, so it should help those entities. Arlington, the Kill, and who else? Farron and them. Yeah, so.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's a
But,
good
uh,
update.
A lot of
there.
good projects. There's, look, the Port Harbor received some, I think
They got a good
There's
bit.
a well,
4 or
the-
5 million for the, arena.
yeah, some GCRF funds,
To
some
do
funds
that,
for the,
I don't know if anybody's ever seen the plans. If you looked at them for the plans out there, I think it's Neshoba County, they wanna,
loosely, yeah, yeah.
something like that, to eventually have cabins and everything out there on that property. It's a great plan they have, and also funds are starting to flow in for that. And I think Hancock County received excess $20 million, the most they ever received this year.
Hancock
So-
County did really well. And for needed,
Yeah.
not fluff
So
projects,
again,
needed projects that
Yeah,
would
this is
benefit.
very much needed. This isn't a lot of, you know, wants, this is needs and all. So, again, our legislature worked very well. They do wanna come to, I'm not sure if it's second meeting this month or first I think it's the first meeting in
First
May.
meeting in May is what I was thinking.
They'd like to come talk about it, and just, again, make that presentation and all. But, again, when we see them, thank them and everything, and a lot of hard work and all went into it.
Oh,
All right, yeah, good report.
Well, I'm kind of, wanted to say something. Administration, have you looked into maybe taking some of our cash balances? We mentioned it maybe about a month ago, putting it in the money market. Because you got, again, I was just looking at 3.4 million you got sitting there in the off. You know, that could have been 10 grand, at least 10 grand of interest. You know, could have collected April 1st. You know, I think it's worth looking into.
oh, yeah.
My only concern with it is that the fact that we've got so many accounts that need to be segmented. So do you do an investment account for each fund? Because
Well, what
you know,
you
ha-
get, you get
for the
into some
accounting part of it-
legalities issues there. So for example, this ARPA fund.
Mm-hmm.
So ARPA is, you have to go in and report to the government where you spent the money, how you spent the money. So then the money market's great as long as it's going up, but if it takes a dip, then you're gonna have to account for how you used, say ARPA money, or how it dipped down. and it's, I know one of your cash balances, I think you still have a little bit of bond. Well, tax laws will prohibit you from putting that into a money market because it's bond money and it's tax exempt, and I'm not even gonna pretend to act like I understand tax law, but you can't, under the conditions of your borrowing, you wouldn't be able to put that money. It has to stay in the account like it is. So some of your monies you're gonna be limited to whether or not you could legally put it into a money market scenario.
Some of it, but not all of it. I'm just saying you got a lot of money sitting there, and you know, just sitting there. We're not making it work for us. It's just sitting there, and it looks good sitting there. But I know there's some there that you can make it work for us.
Yeah. So I know one thing we're looking at is so like on money markets or bonds, I'm looking at bonds, right? And we're having to break up bonds to less than $250,000 at each institution, right? For bank failures, right? No bank will ever fail, but SVB had $40 billion in it, and one day it failed, right? Right? So to me, hedging your bets, like, no, I'm going to put 250 in here, I'm going to put 250 here, I'm going to put 250 here.
My luck, too.
Right? Yeah, I mean, you don't know. I mean, because the way things are today,
right?
I don't have any money invested in the stock market today. I'm in bonds because world things can turn quickly, and that'd be the only thing that is your investment guaranteed, and wherever you put it at, right? And I'm not sure about how the money market. I'm just doing bond stuff, but I'm not sure about money markets are they guaranteed,
right?
Right? Because it's you get a run on the bank and Fed's like, oh, they got 10 banks failed today. I can't bail them all out. So sorry, about St. Louis, you lost your $3.4 million. And I don't know that's true, but to me, that's my financial thinking is.
I was just throwing it out there.
No, it's perfect. It's great, right? But how do you invest it so your money is secure?
Right.
That's the other side of the coin. And I don't legally, like Heather said, I don't know how that works.
Basically, you're gambling.
Well, like I can do a 5-year bond for 4.9 right now. I'm getting ready to buy some 4.9 5-year bonds. They'll guarantee me 5 years, 4.9 interest. Well, right, but you can't tie your money up for that long. You can do a 7-month bond for 4.5 at Hancock Bank right now. 4.5 for 7 months at Hancock Bank. But you put up $3 million in there, and everybody takes the money out tomorrow, and you lose your money because you only guaranteed $250. Right, so that's the other side of the coin.
Right.
But no, you can make money for you, but again, it's.
That's it.
That's it. All right. All right. Anything else?
Administration could get a financial team on board. Jason, Thomas could probably direct you if he doesn't do it, tell you who does it. If that's the direction that you wanted to look at.
I knew of one I'd met with that specializes in basically municipalities and colleges. I mean, kind of governmental funds.
Yeah.
I know you got to credit the interest to the fund you have, and we have 22 checking accounts with funds.
Sissy needs to do that.
They tell me to be quiet.
Right, Sissy. We had 28, 29 one time.
Yeah,
Sissy's
there's
like, I'm closing all
benefits
these.
to it, I
Now
will
what y'all
tell you.
doing? What
There's
you doing?
good reasons for it.
You building it back up again.
From an accounting perspective, it's also difficult.
Tell it Riso's fault. He made us do it.
I didn't do it. All right. Let's see. Minutes approval.
Motion to approve, no changes.
All right. We got a motion by Councilman Seal, second by Councilman Hoffman. With the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Attorney's report, Ms. Smith, anything for us?
I have nothing else to add.
Well, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Hoffman,
Second.
second by Councilman Reed. With the motion.
Aye.
Aye. And adjourned. Thank y'all. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
That's the meeting schedule.
think that's over 30 million, not